We are live. Map is up. Everything is good to go. Hi guys. Before I hand it over to Griff, and he does this whole bit because he has to
I
make
love
it
my
a
bit.
bit. Hey, you over there! It's not Mister Rogers' neighborhood, okay? Oh, hello, neighbor.
I
Before
didn't see you come in. Welcome.
before we get started with Griff, just wanted to announce that we did get fully founded for Vault of the Ivory Queen. That is up on Kickstarter, so thank you for anybody
Crit,
who helped
crit,
out with that.
crit, crit.
It is a crit. I'll count it as a
Yeah.
crit. It's a crit as far as I'm concerned. So if you're looking to check that out, we will have a quick me typing it into the chat, sending out the Kickstarter notification. Please check it out, or hang out here
It's a delicious banquet of tasty, tasty items.
and you can watch us about to get killed by a giant crab and some other creatures. It's going to be interesting. All right,
This
Griffin.
might happen.
Griff, it's yours now.
Uh, Welcome, viewers. Good to have you all back. If you were not here last week, or even if you weren't, just need a refresher, our party has found their way out to the lake, found some really unhealthy-looking folks drinking lake water, which they've discovered is basically like teeming with blight, and they're all kind of underfed and gross-looking, but they're just like swallowing lake water and then spitting out magic and completely bonkers nonsense. But then Chanor's goat familiar had a mouthful and doubled in size, and because Snipps' familiar Eugene, the crab, was in the water, scouting out very deep into the lake depths. They've come out now, and I did say that they were 30 feet tall, and then I was doing some quick research since then because I kind of threw that number out off the hip, and I realized how ridiculous that is given that crabs are wider than they are tall. So it is now a 10-foot tall crab that is 20 feet wide, and that is plenty big for a bunch of half-size creatures. This is fine. But that is where we've left off. Let's go around and meet the people. So let's start with Artemis this time.
Hi, I'm Artemis. I'm playing Snipps, whose familiar is currently about 6 meters in length, and has just tried to snip at them. So yeah, that's something. I'm interested to see where this goes and whether or not I'll have to roll a new character. But I'm sure it's going to be fine.
um, and Elle.
I'm Elle. I play Quillz, who's the gnome librarian who, in her free time, gets drunk with fishermen. So she's currently just like, oh, good lord. In awe of the fact that Eugene is now way bigger than they are. Hoping that she doesn't die, but also hoping that the crab doesn't destroy the people of Opec.
Also fair. Xander, if you would please.
Hey guys, I'm playing Chanor Rince, the wonderful little halfling clinical wizard, I guess is the best way to put that. Who is about as smart as you can throw him, except now that he has a band that helps him get a little smarter. And he is slightly terrified of this giant crab. But that's fine.
And I get to play everyone else in this whole universe, except for Poppy playing Ave if Ave ever makes a reappearance, which we're not sure yet. We're still waiting to hear the verdict from the player on that. But for now, we're rolling ahead as normal and seeing what's up. But you guys can follow up with me at Griffin_S on Instagram or Twitter if you ever want to chat DME stuff or if you need artwork. But for now, we have a nice battle map set up, which we did not have at the end of last session, but I took a little bit of time, laid it out, and the giant thing is obviously the crab. The colorful things on the upper left are the lake drinking weirdos. Our party members are the hexagonal little trio in the lower right side, and that's all you guys can see, actually, so forget anything else that I just implied by making that statement. But yeah, I do believe we have a current order of Snipps, then Quillz, then Chanor, but for the moment, the crab has just taken a cheap shot at, has attempted to snip Snipps, Uh, and Snipps did try to dispel them, as a familiar owner is right to do, and it did not work. I will note that you did sense that the connection still exists, because I saw some discussion about that in the Discord. That you can sense the connection, and you feel like there is a way to get it to happen if you really push for it, but the casual effort of what you're used to was not enough in the moment. I will leave that to your discretion to explore or not, but for the moment, it is now just sort of like standing over, like doing the little kind of like rocking back and forth, chit, 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 little overexcited, and watching you guys. All the 6 other lake drinkers are kind of like watching the crab move around in awe and aren't really paying much attention to you guys at the moment. But that is where we've started. So, Snipps, what do you have up your sleeve first?
So I think the first thing I would like to do is to make an insight check. We've seen that Chanor's goat doubled in size, and when called back, just try to kind of head bash him. And we weren't really sure if that's some kind of aggressive behavior or if it's just, I don't know, being a goat and being in a bashing mood, I guess. So my insight check would be to try to discern whether or not Eugene's attempt to snap at Snipps was meant in an aggressive fashion or more in the way of not really realizing his own power.
Give me the roll. I think I know what you're going for, and I do have an answer, so just...
I'm proficient in insight, so that's a bonus action, I believe.
Correct.
I'm also shit in insight. That makes an 11.
11's enough to get some information. You can tell
Something.
that it's not malicious, but that whether or not it's playful attacking or just manic playfulness that you're not sure of.
Okay.
Like they're not the 2 creatures don't seem to be actively upset or wanting to cause pain, but they might not know their own strength. They might be attacking in that way that like dogs bite each other when playing, but they're not really meaning to bite down, but sometimes they hurt each other. You're not quite sure the scale. You just know that you aren't being an active... They're not actively hostile. They're just acting very strange.
Really wish I brought that calm emotions right about now.
Honestly,
might
the
help.
non-communicating creatures are probably the right category for that in my world.
Yeah, I'm
come
kind
to
of
realize
getting that. Missing the word here. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm going to just look back to the others. This might be a risk. Cover me if you can, and I'm going to try to approach Eugene and basically hands out and going, okay, easy there, boy. Everything's okay. Please keep your claws down. I'm happy you're here. I'm not quite as happy that you're trying to snap me in half. So maybe we could try to do that another time. I guess that's going to be some kind of animal handling check.
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, that's a straight wisdom. 18.
Okay. So you see Eugene kind of like a nervous horse, how like they start like rearing up and like their just legs start going. That's what starts happening, except for a second it looks like Eugene's gonna like run over to you and potentially trample you, whether or not intentionally. But then like as you're like using your words, it's just kind of like goes back and forth and kind of like backs up and kind of like scuttles down a little bit, and it's just sort of like tick, 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 scuttle, scuttle, scuttle.
Good boy. Okay, easy now. And yeah, that's my turn. I used an action, I used a bonus action. I
Yes, you
can't really do anything more right now.
Quillz, you're up.
So, Quillz is going to scoot over behind Snipps, just like prepared to like swoop in and like grab him in case she needs to, in case he gets hostile. But she's gonna keep an eye on the 6 guys who are like in awe of this of Eugene. Have the 6 guys who've been drinking the blight water, have they noticed them yet? Can she tell that? Is that insider perception?
Have they noticed who yet?
Have they noted like have they seen like have they like they're noticing Eugene, but like have they paid any attention to like Snipps going up and like trying to calm Eugene down?
No, they're still just kind of there because of the angle they're at. They're definitely like looking up and they're not really watching like the below at the moment.
Okay, cool. So she's just gonna get close to Snipps in case she has to like grab him and bolt,
Gotcha.
but she's also gonna keep an eye on the 6 guys just because she doesn't know what they're gonna do. And
That's fair.
that's gonna be her turn.
Okay. So you have readied the action to grab and move Snipps. Got it. And I'm gonna guess that Snipps would not resist. So yeah, that'll be a bonus action combo where like you're dashing for your movement to cover the normal distance at disadvantage or at half speed.
Yeah.
At normal. Yeah. Cool. Vinny, what is Chanor up to?
First question. I don't remember. At the end, was I able to? I thought Band-Aid came back towards us, right? I didn't blip Band-Aid away. Okay, so
I
don't
think you did.
Okay, I didn't think I did either. I was just trying to remember. So do I have Band-Aid and gauze with us in the general vicinity?
Yes. You can put them on the map. I just did not remember to do that.
That's fair. I just wanted to ask before I did, just to make sure it was all Gucci. Alright, yeah. So I'm gonna just put that as Band-Aid, because Band-Aid is now somehow a big boy. Gauze. Cool. So I'm just...
Not a Band-Aid anymore, he's a bandage now.
Yes. Yep, that's his new name. Bandage. He wants to be called Bandage instead of Band-Aid. Kids growing up. Chanor doesn't... I don't know if because I have a clearer view of Eugene now, maybe I could potentially like try to like devise more information. Like the thing is, I already learned the basic things from Band-Aid, what is happening to Eugene.
Yeah.
Is there the only thing I can think of to do while trying to remain neutral and like not cause any like panic, because now we've learned about panics, is try to like either arcanically or medicine, or using arcana or medicine to try to just like check it over and see if there's like anything else I'm missing, because we get like the aggression, whether playful or not, and then we got the size growth. So I'm just wondering if there's any other details that I could like with these two different subjects here try to figure out.
It was also
Arcana?
glowing, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's a little shimmer.
Yeah.
Arcana and medicine are both the same. They're both intelligence, yes?
Arcana is intelligence, medicine is wisdom.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Make the Arcana check, because if you want to do wisdom, you can definitely do that as a bonus action too, given that you have that as definitely a proficiency. But Arcana, I will let you, because I'm guessing your roll is going to be higher with that.
14,
and you already did sort of like check stuff.
14 plus 7, 21.
Nice. I will say that you... So at some point while you were doing like your research and, you know, talking to people and, you know, doing all your medicinal research and like checking into that wound and the way that it was rotting in a certain way, you are starting to think that this is less about magical effect and more about how the blight interacts with living creatures.
Gotcha.
And that, as a result, there's definitely some sort of potential for will overriding or mind overriding over based on exposure. It's the kind of non-committal mental aspect of the other humanoids.
Gotcha. Okay. So longer exposure could lean to lower, I guess, inhibition is the best way to put it right now.
For animals and stuff, yeah, that's actually a really good way to put it. You also guess that if those humanoids that they're probably oversaturated to a point where they have diminished intelligence overall, but there might have been a time where they were like actively in control, but yeah, just sort of like acting out and manic with the potential of it all.
Gotcha.
And it can go wrong very fast.
Yeah. So it could go wrong very fast, but at the moment, it feels they're having fun. We're having fun. Band-Aid's having fun. It's all fine. For the moment, I'm just going to watch, I guess.
Nice.
But we're all having
Everyone
fun.
give me a perception check.
Gotcha.
12.
Do-do-do-do. 16.
4.
Quillz, you are the only one who kind of notices, since you're already playing Lookout, most likely, we'll call it for story purposes.
Yeah.
You're like watching the people off to the side, and you're like trying to like scan to see if the animals are acting out at the moment. You're just kind of keep your eyes, and then you suddenly see like this line of movement across the water surface that you don't really understand, and it looks like there should be something breaching, but there isn't, and then it just stops. But
Is it
you
under the water or over the water?
So the way the water moved, it looked like something should have come up and gone back under, but it definitely, you didn't see what that was. You just saw the water move that way.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
I'll give you guys one more quick round to like try other things or do one last attempt at whatever you would like to do, and you will either end combat or something might happen depending on what I roll for this other thing.
So Eugene is still in the water, right?
Yeah, halfway. Like, standing in it, they're definitely not anywhere submerged. It's mostly just their feet are in the shallow end.
Okay, in that case, one moment. Region that is okay, nice. If I look at the ground around me, are there any just sticks or logs or maybe a large rock or something like that?
Definitely
Preferably
rocks.
not exceeding 5 pounds.
Oh, you can definitely find some smaller rocks. I know I have some boulders mapped out, but there's like other rocks. There's maybe some like old dead wood that's been knocked over. Yeah, there's options.
Okay,
There's definitely
in
no
that
trees big
case,
enough to like hide behind or anything, but there's some like old trees that have collapsed from like root
okay,
rot,
in that
essentially.
case, I want to find a suitable, yeah, suitable log or stick or something like that, maybe a small branch, and I'm just going to look at Eugene and hey, Eugene,
I just figured out what you're doing.
you seem to have a lot of energy. Want to play a game? And I'm using catapult to take this log and sort of levitate it up a little and just wave it a little in front of Eugene's eye stalks, I guess, and then goodbye, go fetch and throw it 90 feet in this direction.
Okay.
So that hopefully when Eugene tries to run after it, we don't get trampled alive.
Nice. Three things are gonna happen. I do need Quillz. I need you to prep me with a dexterity saving throw.
Eh.
Scramble, scramble, scramble. Log, crunch, 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 log.
Nice.
I got a 9.
Okay, so you will be able to minimize the effect of what's about to happen, but
Okay.
because there was a trampling crab running between your warning bells, as soon as Catapult starts to get cast, these two sprint straight for you. And they don't get there in time for the magic, but they both are going to try to lunge at you. And the first one will get by, the second one, Quillz, you'll pull Snipps out of the way for, and that's basically what the dex check was to see if you saved him from both attacks or just one.
Okay, so I saved him in some capacity. Woo!
And we'll
Yay.
see what the dodge is. I
Nice.
need Snipps to make me a... Oh no, this is my roll this time. That is
Ooh.
That is a 20. Oh, that's a 19.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
my
I
armor
can't do
class
math.
is 50.
Oh my god. Oh, okay, that still hits. It was 17. I got the math wrong twice.
I mean, that still hits.
It's only 3 damage, but just basically like lunges and like bites you. Basically on the arm, like tracing the residual magic that you were just using. And what I need you to do as the save is roll me a Constitution saving throw. But you guys do pull back about
That's a
20
10.
feet.
I'm going to use a chronal shift for that. Which is as a reaction, after your creature you can see within 30 feet makes an attack roll or ability check, I can re-roll it. Nope, worse. That's a 9.
Well, at the moment that you can't tell that what if anything has happened. So like you aren't taking anything. It's more of just a concerning spot check. You didn't do bad enough to have like an immediate collapse. You're fine.
Cool.
Cool. So, Quillz, that was your stored action. It is now your normal turn.
Okay. I'm going to cast color spray in the direction of all of the magic 6 dudes. And they have to do, what is it? They have to roll, oh no, wait, I have to roll 20d10, and that's going to be
God.
how many hit points of creatures that spell can affect.
Oh, it's one of those.
So
20d10. Wow.
yeah, well, yeah, because it goes up with you each level you go up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 241.
Whew. Okay, well let's scale this the other way.
What level did you cast it at? Jeez.
I guessed it at level 6.
God.
That is
Oh,
gonna be
wow.
200. That is actually going to affect all of them. So tell me what it does.
Okay, so for so starting with the creature that has the lowest hit points, each creature affected by this spell is blinded until the end of my next turn, and you subtract each creature's hit points from the total before moving on to the creature with the next lowest hit points. A creature's hit points must be equal to or less than the remaining total for the creature to be affected, and they're just gonna see like flashing colored lights springing, and like they're just gonna be blinded with like color. They're just gonna be like, ooh, pretty.
Gotcha. That's super effective against these guys, actually. So yeah, they all start sprinting at you the second you start the casting, but then you blast it, and like immediately they're all just sort of like dogs who have now forgot where the ball is, and they're all just like running in like little short patterns with excitement, but now they can't pin down where they were trying to go. But yeah, now there's just a clump of them standing like 10 feet from y'all who are very confused and running and excited, but like as they settle in, they're just sort of like, I don't know, all here.
Like they,
I can't even catch it.
I just discovered tie-dye.
yeah,
Yeah.
essentially.
Just like trying to grab ribbons of color out of the air and failing miserably, like they are entranced. How long does this last?
Until the end of my next turn.
Oh, okay.
So they're blind for right now.
Yep, they have nothing. Chanor.
How big is Band-Aid now?
Band-Aid was probably, what, half your size, so now they're probably about as tall as you are?
Okay, so rideable.
For you? Yeah.
Alright,
Going off the logic that horses are about the same height as a normal human, yeah, I'm buying that.
cool. Snipps is
Small horses, but still.
Yeah, Snipps is still the lightest of us, though. I'm gonna.
Goats are sturdy.
They are. Now I'll hop on Band-Aid. I don't want anyone else to deal with Band-Aid in his current condition except me.
Definitely does like a little bit of like jumping between hoops for a second. It's like woo.
Gauze, can you bend down for these two guys, just in case you want to get on? I'm gonna give you Gauze, just to have like Gauze kneel down and get ready to like to sprint with them. I'm going to hop onto Band-Aid's back.
Given you guys had not used your movement for that for each of those turns, if either of you wants to now use your movement to respond to that and get on Gauze, you can do that as a free action.
Yes,
at this moment.
please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm gonna get on Band-Aid, and I'm gonna say, Snipps, that thing you did to like distract Eugene, maybe do it as we're running. Just I'm gonna start like finding a direction away from this.
Nice. Yeah, you'd just be going back the way you came essentially, and that is entirely acceptable. I want to put this. The three of you roll me another perception check real quick. I want to see if you notice as you're preparing to take off.
Okay. I'm also gonna tell Gauze
11.
I'm gonna be like, Gauze, listen to those two. If they give you a command, it's okay to listen to them.
17.
10.
Cool.
It's nice that we have one person that has a positive perception.
Quillz, you definitely are again the one person that, like, as you guys get on, we'll presume Snipps is like in the front to like do the yeah and like kind of help steer the logic at best. But you look back just to see if anything's chasing, and you see the six who are still kind of like entranced. You see Eugene, who is kind of like, "You're not throwing another one?" and does a little bit like a little shuffle back and forth, and does start to follow you guys, but obviously not in like a chasing, more in a like, okay, I guess we're going this way.
So he's calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, he's definitely not gotten more aggressive. He's definitely still hyper energized, but seems to get it at least. But as you guys start to leave, the other thing you see is in the water, there suddenly is a like strange creature that kind of like shifts itself up and peeks out, and it's like spits water towards you guys, but it's nowhere near with enough range to make contact. It just kind of like arcs about 15 feet in front of it and hits the water itself. And you hear a screech. Behind it, you will notice when it screeches, there's like a ripple of what you would probably recognize as, given that you've done some illusion magic at this point, as like a failing illusion, as like a outline of a house or a small cottage seems to like make itself visible before it like calms down, and then that illusion resets and you can't see it anymore. But then you guys are heading.
Cottage is an illusion?
No, there's an illusion hiding the cottage, and for a second it started to break down. You could see that there was a cottage there before the illusion asserted itself. But otherwise, I'm going to say that you guys can make a clean getaway.
Just as we're trying to get away, I'm going to look at both Chanor and Quillz and basically go, what are we going to do about those weird people? Do we care about them? Do we want to save them? Do we want to leave them behind? Do we want to kill them? What's our plan of action?
They seem... Okay, how's your bite doing?
How's my what?
The bite wound he bit you, how's that bite doing?
I look at my bite wound. What do I see?
It's just some teeth marks that broke the skin a little bit, but like nothing weird at the moment.
I mean, it
It's only
It
about
hurts a
10
little,
minutes
but
old, so
apart
it's
from
even
that,
barely started bleeding.
I mean,
Okay,
not too bad, I guess.
so they don't seem overly aggressive
Well,
towards humans.
if it's
They
just
mostly seem weird.
if it's just these random 6 people out here, that's not super concerning.
Yeah, I mean, and they're blind.
Just to check, are you not telling them about the other thing you
Yeah,
saw in the water
that
as you guys
was
are taken out?
that was my lead in to you to be like, but wait, there's this other thing.
And wait, there's more.
Quick question about the dude that's in the water. Does he
Yes.
look like a more emaciated version of the 6 on the shore?
No, he is a very different thing. I don't know how to describe it to you in a way that makes sense because it kind of has its own automatic illusion, and you noticed it by having a high perception. So it also kind of has it looks like it's made of water a bit, but also is clearly not once you locked in on it. But you totally get once you looked at it why you had trouble seeing it move along the top of the water before.
I think Quillz more like wants to wait until they're safe inside and they know what's happening with Eugene before she tells them that because she doesn't want to freak them out when they're not in a safe place.
Totally fair. I will say that if you guys want, you have 2 options. You can trot back around the coast to a safe distance where you can still kind of see them way off, but probably aren't in close contact. Or you can get back to the docks and then make a decision from there if you want to regroup and try again, or if you want to light the thing or pick up.
So as long as those emaciated people don't seem to give chase, Snipps
Don't.
would be in favor of going around the coast and at least trying to keep them sort of in view to see what
Okay.
they're up to.
So a ghost coast to the north or to the south?
To the south on this map, you guys are technically in the southeast. I kind of twisted it to make sure that it would make sense for battle logic.
Right.
Yeah, you'd basically be going back towards the river, so you'd be going west, which is south on this map. I should have rotated the thing, and now I'm thinking about it. Would have been really easy to do. I wonder if I could still do that.
So basically, if we go south on this map, we're going west, and the more west we go, the closer to the river. There. Well, again, with missing information, Chanor's just like, cool, we saw what the problem was. Some people are being weird. We can just leave it. Normally,
Quillz just gonna awkwardly just be like,
Chanor would normally be like, well, we could check them out, but if they're biting us and drain magic, that seems like a bad idea.
I would propose that we get a safe distance away, but we can still see. And with any luck, looking at Eugene when she looks at Eugene, she says, and staying out of sight.
Yeah.
I would like to keep an eye on them and whatever's in the lake.
Can we keep an eye on them? We have Eugene behind us going like this. Can we even see them?
Because you're following the coast, you're basically constantly at an arc comparatively. So Eugene's kind of on the curve behind you guys here, and you can see across as you go, it's kind of just following along. So he's never really between you and them.
Gotcha.
Because you're not leaving in a straight line, you're leaving out an arc.
Oh, and you guys can see me because I'm on top of Band-Aid, who is also slightly glowing. So you guys have a little... I'm Rudolphing this shit. Okay, got you.
Just for fun, I want to try to reach out to Eugene in my mind and try to look through his eyes.
So you can do that. You still feel that strange sense of resistance, but it's less... There's less of a reason to resist this action.
Mm-hmm.
But what you see is a lot of I want to use a movie reference, but that's not good for the audience. In case they haven't seen the movie. You kind of see everything through a strangely desaturated lens, but the lake has a brighter color to it. Bandage has a brighter color. The magical items that your people are carrying have brighter colors. It seems to be seeing magic with a highlight, whereas everything else is kind of dialed down a little.
So Eugene basically has magic thing vision right now.
Of night vision, he's got magic vision.
Interesting.
And bandage with your fur so bright. Sorry, what? So you guys are getting a safe distance away.
Safe distance away. So
We'll say you've gotten like, for the fact that you're kind of galloping, you've gotten like 10 sprint movements away in like 3 moves essentially. So you've really put some distance. If they start moving towards you, you can totally outrun them, and you're certain of that.
Are they paying
So if you want to like
any attention to us as we like go away?
they are
They're
not
blind.
concerned. They kind of like have gone back over to the water, and they start like doing the same thing. You start seeing the lights going off again. You don't see the thing floating on top of the water anymore, Quillz.
Out of curiosity, how far away are we from them, would you say? Like, roughly?
Oh, 300 feet or more?
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, 600 feet, because it's sprinting 10 rounds. Yeah.
Okay.
so we're just like
Never mind. Oof.
at this point.
You guys did it in 3 rounds.
Yeah.
But for them, for a normal movement, it would take about 10 rounds.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Just for shits and giggles, I'm going to hold a finger up and just cast Frostbite over the water, just to see what happens.
At this point, they're too far away, and they are not picking up on it.
I had a
But
feeling.
I will say that you definitely see like a roil of water behind the frostbite part, and like a splash that like splashes up, and then a breach splash back down. You also kind of miss what it was that did it, but you definitely saw that a thing reacted in the water itself this time.
Okay, so I see this separation from like them and like this thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Quillz is like,
Do we all see that? Or just Chanor?
Chanor definitely does, because Chanor was casting in that direction. If you want to roll a perception check, we can see if you were watching.
Yes,
I
please.
I would like to as well.
10.
I was not being very subtle about it, I will say.
You were still watching Eugene and just totally like, what is up with you, big guy?
13.
13.
So big and shiny.
Because you're already familiar with it, I'll say that you hear the first splash and then notice it going back in, but like you didn't quite catch the opening part of it.
Okay. So, and Quillz already knows what it. Well, she doesn't know what it is, but she's seen it before.
Right. If you had gotten higher than a 15, I would have said you saw the whole thing. But with a 13, I'll say you heard it, recognized that might be the thing again, because you're tuned in, and then you're like, maybe. That looked like maybe.
That maybe. So Chanor, I didn't see the whole thing, but did you see what did the splashy thing?
Not my spell, but also not them. They're too far away. I was just curious if they were gonna react, like if there's a radius where they just hone in on magical stuff. And then I cast a frostbite like over the heads of Eugene and Bandage, just to see if like they also like weren't.
They go.
They definitely like they responded. They're like and bleep 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 bleep.
I've never seen a crab jump.
That would be terrifying for this.
That would be absolutely terrifying.
While he does that, does Quillz notice anything in the water reacting to what's Chanor's frostbite?
You do see that kind of like surface movement moving towards you guys for sure.
I think we should stop with the magic for right now, and maybe get away from the lake.
Why?
There's something else in that lake, and I don't want to mess with it right now.
I mean, we've seen. Well, technically, Technically, Eugene has seen some more glowing things and stuff that seem to be affected by these whatever raw magic-y thing is in the lake.
There's something's living on the lake. I saw it.
On the lake?
Yeah.
On or in?
On. Wait,
On.
this is a great question. On. Okay, yeah, on.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
the cabin was technically like poking out of the water, and you kind of like saw a slight landmass, and kind of like how there's that tiny landmass just off the coast of the lake. It was another one of those.
Can we do
itty bitty island?
Obscured.
Can we do a pinwheel where we say Quillz tells us exactly what she saw, so we have more information?
Yeah.
Okay,
Ooh,
because
you know exactly what I saw.
cool, because the small pieces is gonna take a real long time to get to the end there.
This is true.
Okay,
You
so
can always hand wave
Um,
and just say, "I tell them exactly what you told me."
I told them exactly what I was told by our awesome DM Griff.
I am
Channer's,
grateful. Also.
Whatever God has told me, you know now as well.
Channer's
God
just
speaks through me.
Channer's gonna be like, well, why don't we go there? It's probably they probably at least know what the hell is going on if they're living
It did-
on the lake.
Unless they're the
Didn't look-
cause of it.
It didn't look cool. It didn't look friendly.
Yeah, you guys also
Um,
know that like it tried to spit something at you guys and didn't
Yeah.
have range.
It didn't. It's not, and it's getting close to range with us, and I don't want to see the effects. I don't want to chance the effects of that range. What he's spitting at us.
I mean, that's fair, but we're not solving it. It's another thing. We're not solving the problem. We just know more about it.
Look, the only thing I
give
can
me
do
a
is
moment, and I'm going to conjure up a ball of fire in my hand. Not fireball, produce flame. Don't worry.
Oh, it's still I got it.
Yeah. And I am going to try to throw it as close to the surface of the lake as possible, and basically trying to throw it over the surface of the lake and not letting it actually pass into the lake. And I suppose it's going to disperse sooner or later.
So skimming,
Cool.
skimming the lake.
Yeah, basically like a skipping stone, but without touching the surface.
Gotcha. What are you two doing? So let's just go down the quick. So that's your action during the 6 seconds of we're gonna treat it like a turn. Quillz, what are you trying at, if anything, besides shouting concern?
she's just gonna be like, I told you to not do magic, and you're doing magic.
I'm trying to find out where the thing is coming from, and
She's more like concerned mom at the moment. She's just like, I told you to not, and you are.
Told you to keep the fork away from the power outlet. What are you doing?
I'm not
Chanor?
smart.
Do I see Snipps doing this?
There's no reason not to. I mean,
Okay.
basically, you're the three of you are standing there. Quill says a thing, and Snip, and that says maybe no more magic, and Snip goes, hold on, first though, magic.
I'm gonna just uncap the end of the endless decanter of water and hold it towards the water, getting ready to say geyser, so if something comes shooting at us, I can just knock it away from us.
Taking it.
You have a man with a water hose.
Exactly. That's...
All right.
I don't know.
Quillz is concerned. Snipps is throwing a fireball over the top of the water to see how far it can get and if it triggers any more responses, and you're ready for if there's a response. Cool. Because here's what happens. I feel like I need to rotate this map and just like make it like strip some of this stuff out and make it make sense.
Map number 2.
You want to do that real quick?
Can you rotate easily on here?
I can do it quickly. I just need a second. But what you guys see while I'm opening up Photoshop real quick so I can do the rotation. I can't rotate it in the actual program, so that's the only part.
Gotcha.
You're good. You're good. Let's talk.
No, it's in desktop. Why am I going that way? Map or open. Okay, so what you see is the fireball launches, and like immediately from about 60 feet inward, there's like a quick ruffle of water that is a bit obscured by the fact that there's a fireball between you and that where it happens. But as the fireball like goes another 20 feet out, there's a sudden burst of the same creature that looks sort of liquidy in and of itself. That kind of pops up and like spits water directly at Snipps. So I will need.
Do we get a better look at the creature?
Oh yeah, I'll give you a better look in a second, but you have to pass a DC 13 check first.
Dex save, or what exactly is it?
Sorry, that is no, I'm sorry, that is going to be a Constitution save, because this is a direct attack thing that I roll, and it's a 21, so I know that hits.
I'm going to use my inspiration for that. That was a 2 on the die.
Okay.
That's a 5. I really need to change those dice. 7.
All right. And Vinny, you can now fire Geyser in response.
Cool. There's no chance I can try to hit whatever it's spitting. Can I just fire it back at it?
No, Snipps is getting hit no matter what.
Cool.
Like, you are still going to respond very quickly, but
that's
not
fair.
that quickly.
No, that's 100% fair. I just was like, cross the streams. Anyways, all right, I said Geyser.
Depending on the different roles, you might have had a window for it. I definitely was offering or had it as an option in my brain.
It needs to make a DC 13 strength saving throw.
That is going to be a 12, so yeah, it'll take that hit.
Okay, so it falls prone, which it's in water, so you tell me how that works. And it
won't work the exact way you want it to, unfortunately, this time. But
and
the spirit of
it takes 4 bludgeoning damage. If you target an object, you can knock it back 15 feet, so I don't know if that could be like partially instead of the prone. Maybe it just gets knocked back like 5 feet or something.
I will. That's a good question. I will have it have an effect.
Onto the water.
But give me 1 second.
Oh, is it already?
This almost set up. Yeah, so it does take the hit. Snipps, you are gonna take 7 damage from the water impact to you.
I almost want to make a gauze trinket so I have an even bigger amount.
Quillz at this point is just like, I told you. I told you. Told you.
Where'd the thing go? Here we go. Cool.
Are we that far away from gauze and band-aid?
I don't know. I just dragged.
No, they should be closer to you.
I just dragged them on. Leave me alone. Sorry. I was trying to help.
No, you're fine.
That is... Okay.
Just like, hey.
So you take 7 damage, I think I said. And you also just like you get hit so unexpectedly that now you're just like spitting up, like the water got in your mouth, and you're just like, that does taste weird. Yeah.
Does he start glowing?
Do I also get
no,
magic vision?
Oh, okay.
He does not.
Does the water taste funny?
Yes, definitely tastes funny.
It's just like backwash.
Also, does fish mate in it?
And this thing gets knocked back about 15 feet and it's just sort of like stun locked for a second. So it is basically going to lose its next reaction, and will have advantage on at least Quillz because you haven't actually taken an action this round. If you would like to do something, you will have a advantage. Each of you has advantage on your next move against this thing. Let's just keep it in order and do that.
Is it my turn?
No,
Chanor.
It'll be Snipps' turn again now. Yes, Snipps.
Okay. Apart from getting water in my mouth and kind of coughing it up again, did anything else happen to me? Do I feel any different right now?
Besides the 7 damage of like the impact itself, no.
Okay, I just feel drenched. Nice.
Here it is.
Just looking at Quillz. I know. Do we fight it or do we get away?
It's not going anywhere. But
yeah, but should we?
I mean, we just can't. I mean, Chanor, what do you think?
I will also tell you guys that because you got a better look at it, it is humanoid. It does look like it is some sort of at least part aquatic humanoid, but its skin is either using some sort of water camouflage illusion, or it is just being affected by the blight at a level that's causing that to be a constant effect, and you're not sure which.
Okay. So I will add, so I know it isn't, but should we go anywhere? Because this does not seem right. This seems blighty.
That's fair, but is it intelligent? Is it not intelligent? Is it evil?
I don't
Is
know.
It
It just
chaotic?
spit at me.
I don't like to kill things. But
I mean,
I don't want it hurting more
I
people.
also didn't, and last time it got my friend killed, so I'm kind of neither here nor there for that, if you know what I mean.
If you want me to do something, I can scare the shit out of it again like I did that dog, but not hurt it.
Right, I need a final, 10-word statement from each of you, and then I have to call for an action.
Snipps is
Each
just...
of you can, say the thing in order, and then each of you can act. It doesn't have to
okay.
be, you can, wrap up your conversation, but I need you guys to lock it down.
Can I ask one more question, Griff, before we...
Yes.
Josefa's mission that she sent us on, was it to just find out the problems, or was it to solve the problems?
I thought it was to solve.
Yeah, Leto picked you because Leto thinks you have the potential to solve the blight.
Solve...
to stop the blight.
Yeah, stop the blight.
Then in
Okay.
that case, wouldn't it be better to somehow incapacitate the creature, take him with us, and then do scientific discoveries on him to see what's happening?
That was more than 10
Plan
words.
for that.
You can have
That was a question.
That was...
I just
That
wanted to
wasn't a
keep things
statement.
distinct.
You said 10-word statement. I have a question.
I am not currently prepared for scientific discovery, so that might cause a problem with the narrative for the week, for the session, but we can burn that bridge when we get to it.
Do we have... If we can contain it, great. If not, I would like to stop it from hurting people.
I don't know how to contain it. I know how to inconvenience it.
Right, now we're gonna need actions. I know you asked the question, but it was still part of your final speaking point.
Yeah. And I'm not first initiative anyway, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm first of an initiative, and I I guess I'm just going to use the dodge action for this one, because currently Snipps is unsure whether or not we should attack this thing or try to get it to get close or something like that. So I'm basically going to hold my turn, be on guard, and try not to get spit at again.
Okay. Quillz, you're up.
Sorry, I had to cough.
Thank you for muting.
Yeah, I tried. So Snipps dodged. The creature's prone right now. So
I think it got knocked back instead of getting knocked prone, but it's
Right.
momentarily stunned.
how many feet away from him is he?
The prone gives advantage on the attack, so this is making it stunned is giving you the spirit of what the goal is.
Right, no, how many feet away from us is he?
It's like
I want to
30.
say 30 feet from you at the moment.
You
If
can-
you
you can
approach the
check.
water a little more.
There's a measuring tool
Yeah,
on the right.
30 feet.
Oh yeah. There is a measuring tool. I'm going to cast Phantasmal Force at the creature. And he has to
Moment,
make an
please.
intelligence saving throw.
Only we had
know,
Offie's cauldron. We could shove it in the cauldron.
I know.
I know generally what
and
this
make
does.
blight soup. That's a great idea. I'm sure nothing ever will come of that.
Level illusion, concentration for 1 minute. Root in the mind of a creature. Creature is an intelligence save on a failed save. If a creature or phenomenon of your choice, no larger than duration, no effect on undead or constructs. Phantasm includes sound, temperature, blah blah blah. Target can use its action to examine it. Check against your spell save if the spell save there knows. While a target is affected, this is what I need. The target treats the phantasm as if it were real.
Mhm.
Target rationalizes any illogical outcomes from interacting with the phantasm. Gives an example, but I already know that. If an affected target is so convinced the phantasm reality that it can't even take damage from the illusion. Oh, it can even. A phantasm created to appear as a creature can attack the target. Similarly, the phantasm created to appear as fire. Cool. Okay. So it is basically something that, like, fear is the mind killer moment.
This is what I did on the dog.
It's going to fail the intelligence save. I can tell you that right now because the next die I had lined up in my chart is a 2. So that
and I
roll
already
was
had
already awful.
advantage. So he's essentially just stunned. He's there, but he's stunned. So, essentially what's going to happen is there's going to be a wall of fire that's going to appear around him.
Okay.
And it's going to, when it's going to start slowly getting smaller.
Gotcha.
And he's going
Is
to
the
be
fire also below the water?
It's around him. And it's an illusion. So it's not real fire. He just believes it's fire. And it's getting smaller, and he can feel the blistering heat of the fire. Whatever water is around him, he can hear the sizzle of it evaporating.
Gotcha.
Like, it's gonna get blistering hot. It's gonna get smoky. Smoke's gonna fill his lungs. Like, because you said he seems part aquatic, so Quillz is just like, let's just cause
roll
some
me
smoke inhalation damage.
2d6 psychic damage.
Okay. Six.
Okay.
Because fire's the opposite of water. Like Quillz is thinking.
We'll call that normal. So that's cool. Okay.
Actually, it's hot.
Oh. So basically all these things have technically a resistance to magical damage in a sense, but because it's more of a psychic after effect of the magic and not actually magical damage, I'm treating it like it's normal strength damage and not magical damage.
Cool.
They believe it's real, so there's no reason why they would believe it was real at a reduced pain threshold, especially since, fire. Neat. Vinny, what is Chanor up to?
I don't know if I can do this as part of all of what I plan on doing. I have a want for my action and bonus action. I would just like to see if the 6 people from before are doing anything. Like, does it look like they moved at all? Do they care about any of this going on?
They are not interested. They're too far away to care or notice.
Cool. I'm gonna look at Wilson and say, alright, this might slow it down. I'm gonna fill my hand with Shocking Grasp. I'm gonna hold it right over the decanter of endless water and say geyser and do Blastoise and Pikachu, Thunderbolt, and Hydro Pump combo.
My thought was just to cut it. You guys are getting... Okay, sure.
I'm digging the
Let's torture
logic
it.
on that.
I don't know if the logic works, but...
Hey, there's no reason it doesn't, honestly. Like, that is some solid combo.
I have Shocking Blast and Frostbite, and I really want to use them in combination with my Geyser just to see what the hell happens.
Oh, hell yeah, I'm into that. Roll me the damage for the Shocking Grasp, because it's not going to have any sort of dodge for this at the moment.
Because he's scared out of his mind.
Yeah, he's scared, scared and stuck in the spot. He does have the ability to escape down once he's not stunned and horrified, so I'll give him the chance for that in a minute. But at the moment, the electrified water that's being directed at the water right next to him is going to definitely hit him.
6.
Alright, that is...
And
Whenever Chanor fires that, can Quillz make the illusion like the fire goes gets out of the way for that and then goes right back?
No, but it won't change anything, because
Okay.
all really what's happening is the water's... Like, it doesn't see the water geyser come, it just senses the electricity flowing through the water and electrocuting it.
Yeah. And I don't know what changes this has, just because it's I have the extended Shocking Grasp, where it gets rid of bonus actions and reactions, because of the clinic feat, the clinic background.
Yes.
So that's just
So it's
I don't know if it
reactions and
does
bonus
any.
actions?
Yeah, it's instead of just reactions, it can't take bonus actions or reactions. I don't.
Okay.
Again,
It's
this
still
is
going
through a lot of things, so I don't know if it works the same.
Oh, totally. So what's gonna happen is it's getting a turn now as it like finally falls out of stun. So it will do a thing, but it'll only get to do its movement and action, and then on the next round, it will not be able to respond to any of what you guys are doing, but it will no longer be at advantage. Yeah, it will at this point. Like the illusion's got it, the stun of that first geyser shot has got it, but then the electricity kind of like does cause it pain, but snaps it out, and then it just kind of like drops into the water and swims directly to shore, jumps up onto land in front of Snipps, because you're still the one thing that it could visibly target. Everything else happened behind firewalls and has no idea where that came from.
It has disadvantage on any attack it's going to make
Why does it have that?
because I took the dodge action.
Right. Okay, Vinny, I need help with that actually. So I was gonna have it try for essentially a grapple, but not a standard concept of one. So I know it's a competitive athletics check. I would prefer to have Snipps roll at advantage because of the dodge action, as opposed to me rolling 2 die, because I feel that's more fair to put it in your hands. I don't know if there's real rules on this or not, though, Vinny.
Well, with a grapple, it would be either it's an athletics versus athletics or acrobatics, and then if you're giving advantage, I think that's enough versatility that it put it in Snips's favor, anyways. So I think that sounds fair, personally. But
Yeah.
So do you want me to roll 2 dice and be at disadvantage, or do you want to roll 2 dice and be at advantage?
DM's choice, I'd say,
Then
essentially.
you roll 2 dice. That's always better, as
Okay.
if you're rolling more dice than me.
Will do.
Cool.
10 on the die and a 2 on the die. That's a 14.
Oh,
I got
crap,
a
don't have it.
16.
I'm grappled.
Or
Oh,
grappled.
no. Where am I? Dang it.
So what happens in this moment is you're not taking damage. I do need you to make me a DC 10 con save. A bubble of water sort of wraps itself around you, and you're now like floating within the bubble of water. It really, instead of a real grapple, it like grabs you and spits up a bunch of water onto you, and now you're just enveloped and sort of floating in it.
Rude.
what Snips? What do you add to Constitution?
My constitution is a 14.
Plus 2,
Yeah, plus 2.
What you said was a DC 10.
DC 10.
I don't know what you rolled. I'm just gonna use my.
I rolled a 7.
I'm gonna use my. Okay, I'm gonna use my divination 8 to give you exactly 10.
Gotcha.
Thank you very much.
You were surprised, and you like almost like lost your breath and like started trying to breathe and struggle, and then you realized what was happening, and they were able to like snap your mouth shut at the last minute and like lock what breath you have in your lungs down. So right now you're just sort of floating in it and trying not to breathe, or trying not to hold, or trying to hold your breath. I don't know why I couldn't find the words for that. Cool. Now it's just sort of like still a little wobbly and confused, and it's just standing next to a floating Quillz in a bubble of water. And I guess we're back to Snipps. So you can technically try your athletics check again to see if you can get out. You're basically like trying to swim out of the bubble on your own, even though it's actively trying to like swirl to keep you in there. You can also take normal actions as long as you don't need to use your voice at all, but you can't currently use your movement, and that's really your only hard limiter.
Yeah. Okay, so one moment. I have to quickly look up whether or not I use my voice for my cantrips.
Oh yeah,
Yep, all my cantrips have vocal
almost all of them do. Yeah.
components. Yeah. I really would like to have Shocking Grasp right about now, but I'm going
would
to use
hurt
my
you.
action to try and escape.
Okay.
So it's a contested either athletics or acrobatics versus my athletics, I think.
Yes.
Okay. 22.
Nice. Yeah. You can push yourself out of the bubble and basically like drop yourself back to the ground one way or the other.
Okay.
And then take your normal voice actions as standard. And if you had proficiency in the skill you used to contest the contest the check, then that was a bonus action instead of an action.
Oh, no, I sadly don't have. I just have very good athletics, but not
Gotcha.
proficiency in it. Okay, so
I don't know if any of us have proficiency in athletics.
I do.
I am in direct.
Nice.
Never mind, just Chanor.
Yeah, I just have oven mitts that make me real strong. I don't know how to use them. So I'm technically in melee with it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, ain't that fun? I don't have any bonus actions I can make. Although I'm proficient with Arcana, so that would be a bonus action. Can I make an Arcana check to see whether or not the appearance of it being kind of shrouded in water is actually an illusion or is some kind of natural effect on this creature? Or would that be more of an insight or perception?
It's definitely Arcana. Roll it. I need to make a. I kind of had a soft idea, but I didn't think I was going to have to address it directly, so I'll have to think of that real quick and make a canon. But only if you get high
Okay.
enough that I would tell you.
That's a 19.
That's high enough that I would tell you. We will call it a. It is a spell and not a natural alteration to its body, but it does seem to be a persistent magical effect that's occurring due to its blight exposure. I'll give you all that information with a 19. Like, it's not being held up by concentration, it's just sort of like semi-permanent as a result of blight contact.
Okay. I'm just going to sort of use my movement to step around this way, not breaking melee, but just
Oh, yeah,
getting
circle
over
straight.
here to sort of shield my friends and also pull out my sword and just hold it in front of me, my my giant kitchen knife. And just scream over to the others, yeah, that thing's definitely magical, that thing's definitely blighty. I don't think it's nice, and I don't think we should take it anywhere.
Have you tried talking to it?
It tried drowning me.
I'm gonna go with no then.
I will, with that, I'll tell you that so far all you've heard it do is screech at different intervals. You haven't actually seen it try to use words in any way, shape, or form. You don't know if it can talk, but so far it hasn't really tried either. It's just been very screamy.
It's just in a metal band, get off it.
As you do.
Quillz, you're up.
So it looks blighty. Does it look ill in any way?
No, compared to those other things, this thing is super healthy and thriving.
Okay. Well, I was going to use healing elixir if it looked an ill, but never mind.
Oh. Oh, wow. I have no idea what healing elixir would do to those other things.
Yeah.
Note to self, work that out in the meantime. Okay.
Yeah. In that case, Quillz is going to, like, with as little movement as possible, with his trying to keep it discreet, take out her like little dagger thing. I say little dagger. It's a little dagger for her normal.
Your bookmark.
Yeah, she's taking a bookmark. But she's gonna make an attempt to talk to her. She's gonna be like, "Hey, so you're from around here?"
I tried to talk to it or pick it up.
Honestly,
Hey.
What's your favorite
however,
restaurant?
I just want an answer from it. I don't care if it thinks I'm hitting on it or not.
You come here often?
Doing?
Yeah, that's
You
Yeah, you
from
swim here
around-
often.
that was
So you swim here often?
That was Chanor's plan
Nice.
too. So like this
Nice
isn't
fins you got there.
in line with Chanor's thinking of being like, can we at least see if it could make intelligent conversation? It wouldn't have been this friendly, but I mean that's a choice, I guess.
Oh, she's got a bookmark out. She's not being like overtly like, hey.
So it turns to you and like it hisses a little bit, but then goes, drink and be changed.
Drink what? Because I'm down for a good pint of grog.
Dang it, if it had a reaction still at the moment.
That's gonna be Quillz's.
I'm tempted to ask whether I should roll psychic damage for that one.
Yeah, so that's gonna be Quillz's turn. She's just gonna wait for a response to him to be like, drink what?
Okay.
Chanor.
Drink and be changed, huh?
Yeah, drinking.
So tempting. We're gonna I would like to get up next to it.
Cool. Flat and be like, how you doing?
Yeah. Get up really close. And I want to look it over and try to see if there's anything left of like a sensible humanoid creature.
Alright, so you were looking for like an insight of whether it's intelligent or not?
Insight or medicine, whatever, just be like, are...
Oh, okay.
The
Yeah, I'll have either one.
Problem is, like, I don't know what factor, because there's obviously some magical things that are affecting the physical part of it, which is then affecting the mental part of it. I'm just wondering, is this a person... I guess the base of what Chanor wants to know is this an individual that could eventually be saved and turned into a functioning person, or are they down some dark path that cannot be recovered?
Is there some sanity left?
I'm gonna,
basically?
from a meta perspective, I'll say yes, but roll a thing, I'll give you a better answer.
Cool. What is there a specific that you want me to use?
Because of your clinical focus, I will let you do basically a medicine check to see if you can understand what changes have happened to it and if they seem permanent.
12 plus 5, 17.
Yeah, that's pretty solid, actually. So what you can estimate is that the things that make it seem native to the water seem either magical or like odd growths compared to its other features. From what you gather, you would actually estimate that this is probably some like half elf, half goblin that has like been warped slightly by the blight to have these aquatic features and that kind of like strange skin illusion. But it's definitely been changed by the environment, and in its natural state is something you can vaguely identify or estimate on.
Is it half elf or half dwarf?
Half elf, half goblin.
Half elf.
Goblin.
Okay. So that would make their height still taller than us.
They're probably
still
like
taller than us.
5 feet. They're short, but not shorter than you guys.
Alright, cool.
I'm gonna put a hand on it and say, we'll take care of you later. And then I'm gonna use Shocking Grasp.
Nice.
Well played. I can't even fault you on that. That's just perfectly... The visualization there is fantastic. Like,
Ooh.
there.
Yeah. That was a very good roll. That was a 19 on the die, so a 26 in total.
God.
Yeah, that's gonna
sting.
6 plus 4, so 10 damage, and after I walk close up to it, after I shock it, so it can't have bonus action or reactions, I'm gonna look to Snipps and be like, we can start backing away now, and I'm gonna start back up towards Bandage.
Actually, when you shock it, it sort of like wobbles for a minute after you let go and back away, and it just sort of like slumps to its knees and is just spaced out. It's not quite knocked out, but it's definitely like at the current equivalent of 0 hit points for all intents and purposes.
Oh. I thought you were gonna be like, no, you just gave it a drug high with all the magic.
No, actually, roll me an intelligence check now that you mention it.
Okay.
Did just use magic
Wow.
in close proximity.
Okay. This one die really likes me tonight. That is an 18 on the die, so a 22 in total.
Nice. So, because you had that expectation and like you've seen how magic was affecting the other things, you definitely notice the relationship with this thing is more. It's less primal. It's not automatically absorbing the magic. It doesn't seem to be. You notice suddenly that like it hasn't absorbed any magic from its environment the same way the other things are doing. There's definitely some fundamental difference between this as like a near humanoid living creature that's been changed, and I want to say that with your medical knowledge, you can probably make a estimation that the other things may have potentially been dead at the start of whatever happened to them. You're not certain, but it
Gotcha.
is potentially like they were either really sick already, like somehow the magic's the only thing sustaining them, which is why it seems to be vacuuming it up, and you're just sort of loosely piecing that information together.
Gotcha. Vinny has a greater idea of something else, but I know where Chanor's knowledge hits the limit. Gotcha.
Perfect.
Um,
I love that the people in this group know how to separate those two things. It's always weird when I have to be like, your character doesn't know that though.
I will say,
Yeah.
in either situation, as he backs up, Chanor's definitely like, Quillz, I think you're right. We should get out of here, regroup, maybe talk to Josepha, and come back later.
Quills, as you were being told that, you kind of like look around again, one just kind of like making sure nothing else is happening, seeing if there are any friends, and you notice that there is now clearly visible a cabin on top of the water. Now that there's not an illusion being maintained.
God damn it.
Yeah, I told you that homeboy lived here.
You at least can assume that this person was the one maintaining the illusion, and now that they've lost consciousness, the illusion has dropped.
Call me stupid. I want to go see the house.
Do any of us also see the house, and is Quill saying this out loud or thinking it?
I mean, if you guys all look around, you'll probably see it with like a 10 check on a perception roll. But if Quills is looking in a direction, I'd even give you advantage on that. So there's really high odds you guys are all going to know about it in about 5 seconds, unless Quills, you specifically want to downplay it. And in that case, you can say that they
No,
don't
she's
notice.
gonna say that, Alice. She's gonna be like, "Call me stupid. I kind of want to check out the inside, like check out that cabin."
We look up and there's just
a cabin.
Yeah, there's just a fucking cabin there now.
Is the cabin just basically floating on the lake,
It's on like
or
a
is there?
tiny island.
Yeah, it's like a small landmass inside the lake confines. It looks like there is
Island?
water between it, but it's probably pretty shallow between the two spots. It's only like 30 feet from the edge of the water, so it probably is not. You won't be submerged trying to get to it. On a guess,
I look up at Eugene.
based on like seeing Eugene. Actually, God, you used Eugene as a bridge. I didn't even fucking think of that.
Yep. I'm just looking.
I was just about to ask around whether or
Yeah, I was
not
like-
the others think it's a smart idea to use the already hyperactive crab as a bridge,
I'd rather only.
while potentially giving it more reasons to be hyperactive.
I'd rather give one thing a reason to be hyperactive than make every familiar and steed we have hyperactive and non-obedient.
So, but and here's my thing: at least one of us has to be out here with a hyperactive creature.
Or I could just have Gauze entertain Eugene.
Again, you are technically aware that with enough pressure, you could make Eugene bamf out for the time being. That's also an option.
Well, not while
just
we're using him as a
speaking in
bridge.
rules terms, does that mean I need to pass a certain threshold of a check, or
If we
what
were
exactly
doing
do
it
you mean?
in combat, you would have to beat an arcane or Arcana 16 check. If you are just like trying and sitting there and there's nothing distracting you, we can just say it happens after you exert enough pressure on it.
Okay.
And right now, like you'd be able to do it for free as long as you don't trigger anything else jumping out at you. You'd be able to do it for free. But if we're in turn order with a 6-second pressure and potentially being attacked in the midst, you have to roll for it just to make sure you can focus.
Okay, gotcha. China, if we want to go over and check out that cabin, would you mind trying to unsummon bandage? I don't know. Just to see whether or not the effect is permanent if you bam them back out.
That's fair. I actually don't know. I haven't tried that with bandage yet. Hey buddy, can you go away for just a brief moment? And I'm just gonna try and see if I can make bandage pop out of existence.
There's a like push back for a second, and it's like bandage kind of like hops up a little bit, and then it would have been an Arcana check of like 13 for you because it's less tainted. But yeah, pops out of existence and just feel a little bit more of like a jar from it.
It's still headbutting me, but in the ethereal plane.
Yeah, basically. It's just like the effect kind of hits you back like, ow, okay, is that what you feel every time I do that? Ugh.
That apparently works. I can't do this with gauze, though. Gauze cannot be bamfed out, so...
No, that's not what I was thinking about, but
I know what
if you try to get him back out, does that effect stay? So basically, do I have to worry about a 20-foot crab for the rest of my life?
Come back.
It comes back in its actual standard form.
Huh. Do you want to drink the water again, buddy? Or are you okay?
Jump.
Bad idea. I know it's rich coming from me, but I think that's somehow a bad idea.
No, it is. It is.
I'm probably gonna give him a sip before we leave again because he was really cute with all the neon.
Yeah, just if you give him like a instead of a full mouthful, like a little sip, he like grows 50% and has a little shimmer still, but like isn't quite up to your height and still looks up at you a little bit.
That'll...
Why did you feed your goat toxic waste? It just looks so pretty. I mean, that's essentially it, isn't it?
I guess.
What you doing?
Look, I'll take magical toxic waste over like real life toxic waste.
Oh yes,
What about
absolutely.
the candy toxic waste?
Fantasy toxic waste.
Oh
It
god,
just
don't
makes
give me
things more
ideas.
shiny.
I look over to Snipps and I'm like, I guess it works. Yours is obviously, and I just gesture, a bit bigger of a problem, but
Yeah,
it's also a solution right now.
so
While we're having this conversation, the half elf, half goblin dude, he's still just like dazed and confused, right?
Oh yeah, he's essentially like at 0 hit points, without having to make death saves is really all this means. Like unconscious, but like yeah, stable. Just
I was about to ask a couple questions related to that, kind of related to that. First, I assume all of us have either probably scholar packs because we're all wizards.
yeah.
Does anyone have rope? Are we allowed to say that we just have rope, or should
Hold
we...
on.
I do have rope. I did not
think
pick
I
the
might
scholar
have
pack.
rope.
Okay.
Hold on.
there's no reason why you wouldn't. I can't
Thank you.
imagine like a D&D party where
Thank
someone
you.
doesn't
Yeah.
have rope.
No, I
Thank
have
you.
50 feet of rope.
Cool.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Can I if everyone doesn't mind letting me borrow it, I would like sometimes if the patient's a little too mobile when they're not supposed to be, we do have to restrain them. So if I could borrow some of that rope, I'm going to make sure they're okay, but also make sure they can't move.
I know what you mean. I can help you with that. You wouldn't believe how Ave gets when she's enraged.
He got.
No, I can.
Oh,
The mood drops.
she got.
Sorry.
Cool. I guess me and Snipps are gonna take a moment to like tie up this person to just at least make whatever the hell they try to do next more difficult.
Sounds good.
And I would.
I mean, if we really wanted to, we could maybe also then bring him back for Josepha to take a look at.
I mean, that's a.
I mean, if she wants to, of course.
That is.
I don't know.
This is a good idea. I do want to perform a medicine check. I know you said it, but technically we wouldn't know that. Can I? Can I make a medicine check to just make sure that this person is stable and not going to die on us?
Yes.
Just because that's the thing he would do. A 16 total.
Yeah, no, you have a solid sense that it is. There's no risk of any like further degradation unless you do something to cause it.
Quillz is gonna say, "Hey, Lido, you here, buddy?"
Actually, you don't get a response at the moment.
Oh man.
But you also... oh, shoot. Roll me an intelligence check on this.
Okay.
Oh, for you could roll a history check if you want to, because you might have that skill.
I do have proficiency in history, but so 21.
Okay. As you look around, you realize there's no real good place for, like... He always has stepped out of shadows in the past, and there aren't any real strong shadows based on the time of day right now.
Night. Crazy. Is it not nighttime? Is it like just after sunset?
It is.
I thought you guys
mean,
were coming in through dusk, yeah.
So is it
Yeah.
just after sunset now that we've done the thing?
It's probably in that, like, it's starting, like, the sky's mostly that darker blue, like the sunset has gone down, but, like, there's no, like, pitch black shadows anywhere.
Oh, okay. Not even
It's
on the
all
other
just
side
sort
of
of
the
like...
rock? Not even on the
Uh,
other side
yeah.
of
No,
the
that's the
rock?
thing,
You're
because
trying
there's no
to-
light source. Like, if the sun was
Oh,
out,
yeah.
maybe there'd be, like, a strong shadow cast, but there
It's
aren't
just
any strong
creepy.
shadows being cast right now.
You're trying to summon the creepy guy?
Okay, first of all, love Lido. Don't know where you got your idea that he's creepy from. Second of all, he's a direct line to Josepha to see if she actually knows exactly what we're looking for in this dude.
I mean, if he's just appearing out of shadows, I think I can help with it, or at least give us a better chance. And I'm going to summon the produce flame in my hands, which should create a very dark shadow just right behind me.
Yep.
I'm not
And
quite sure
at
about
that
the
point-
implications of Leto just appearing out of my own shadow, but we'll deal with that another day.
Quillz is gonna be like, "Hello, Lido?"
Yeah, no, as you guys are talking, like, before you can even finish your sentence about the concern, he's just like, why? And, like, you turn around, you're like, son of a bitch. Stupid little star eyes, the big
And
floppy
I just,
head.
yeah,
how's it going?
Snipps just jumps 3 feet into the air, basically. Just
Um,
all cartoon, someone getting startled.
Hey, Lido, we've got this dude hog-tied over here. Do you know if Josepha would want to take a look at him? Or do you want to take a look at him? I don't know why I got a southern accent in that moment. That was not meant to happen.
Little poppy channeling. He kind of looks it over, looks up at you guys, and goes, check it over for what?
Blight or something. He's got like the blight thingy.
Yeah.
Do you so so y'all don't know, so would Josepha know what to do?
No.
She would not. Okay. Well, she's just gonna toss some silver. Be like, "Thanks for your information, buddy."
Boom. And then just falls into the ground.
Alright, that was pointless. Chanor, what do you think would happen if I fed this dude healing elixir? Do you think he'd like go back to normal, or that he would get full hit points and then try and kill us?
Can I make a check for something like that? Do I have any? Could I like?
I'll
just
bank
put
this on
some-
the previous checks you've already done. You are 90% certain that a healing elixir is not going to do what anyone thinks it's going to do.
Gotcha. I repeat that, being like, let's. Why don't we go check the house out?
Do you think someone should stay here
I mean,
with the animals and with him?
I'm not comfortable of splitting up and just have someone be alone with whatever might lurk outside of the water. Or maybe some of those spitters that might decide to take a gander over here.
I mean,
I'd rather we stay together.
considering the size of Eugene, we probably could all just fit on Eugene. Maybe Gauze.
Oh yes, totally.
Maybe Gauze has to stay over here, but Gauze could keep an eye on this individual, and considering how weak they are, Gauze most likely can just knock them out in a hit. So I can just have Gauze behave and watch. I'll take Bandage with us so he doesn't cause any trouble any more than normal. and the rest of us stay together.
Oh, guys.
Cool.
Unless anyone has any objections to that.
No, I'm just going to very politely ask Eugene to maybe just get a little closer to the ground so we can kind of scuttle on top of his crab shell.
Before getting on, Quillz is gonna make an attempt to drag the dude farther away from the water.
Fair. And yeah, there's no resistance, so there's no reason not to.
She's just gonna be like, because she has no strength.
Do you want some help with that?
I'd appreciate some, please.
Okay, Snipps is going to try to help.
You got the gloves, you're fine. You just sort of like hoist them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What does the house look like, Griff? Is it like a seaside cottage? Is it a little shack? Penthouse?
It looks like somebody took the shell of a boathouse, but then added more doors and a little bit of a lookout. They added like an extension off to the side. So it's a little slapdash. It definitely is like older, untreated wood, or worn down on whatever treatment it had, and like newer wood that has not really been weatherproofed. So like they're just aged differently. Yeah, it's definitely sort of like a slapdash version of a construction job.
Gotcha.
But
okay, I'll throw more information now that I think about it, because houses aren't really mysterious. It looks 1.5 stories. Like there's like maybe an attic level, or like you might have a one of the extension probably has 2 rooms that are a little shorter. But the other main section looks like a normal 7-foot roof with like something on top. It's probably 3 rooms at most, including an inside outhouse, for lack of a better term, and it's literally on the water, has like a small dock off of it, which gives you the impression of that boathouse idea. A couple of windows, but like no locks, no signs of like heavy traffic. There aren't a lot of lights on or anything inside. Like it just is a dark, old, kind of worn down little hut.
But it doesn't look abandoned, so not just
No, not at
ramshackle
all.
or something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, ain't
Let's-
that fun?
Let's get a boot.
Did anybody use
Yeah.
any spells out of curiosity? Like actual spells during all of
Yes.
that?
I have, yes.
Okay. I'm still full, which means at least the healer still has spells. So cool.
I have.
Yeah, I mean, I
one
have.
spot left.
What?
Yeah. I have
So
one spot
I'm
left.
gonna actually. So you guys are heading to the little house now,
Mhm.
on Eugene's back.
Yes.
So here's what's gonna
Wait.
happen. We're just gonna hand wave that you guys make it over to like the dock at least of the
I have
little
2 spots.
micro island. But we're gonna take our break now and come back in about 15 minutes, and then pick up from exploring the house. But
Yes.
before we completely shut off, I would like Vinny to remind everyone about the Kickstarter. But before that, Snipps, I need you to roll me 3d20.
Well, ain't that fun?
Is this thing getting even bigger? So excited. Imagine-
Okay, that's 2 5s and a 13.
If this thing gets big enough, can we just go back to
23.
Lorda and wreck shop? Because I'd be kind of okay with that.
Quillz does need to go back to Lorda to return the little box.
Yeah,
thingy.
sure. We can return the box to
Do you
all,
have it
all the
with you
corpses. All
right
the
now?
corpses that are.
No,
Just
she's
run the
fucking
crap through
pathetic.
town, break everything, and then on your way up, be like, "Oh, you dropped this," and then fuck off.
That's
Oh no,
an,
we're just going to go to the town square and just Snipps is going to say, Eugene, sit.
that's an
And
Illyra.
Lord is
That's an
flattened.
Illyra move if I ever heard of it though.
It
Just being
totally
like,
is.
by the way, here you go.
I'm not even keeping it.
Yes. So for anyone watching, we have a Kickstarter going. It is fully funded, which is so awesome and also slightly stress-inducing for me, but I'm okay with that. If you would like to join and check it out, please go ahead and follow the link appearing below. But also,
It's really cool.
we're gonna take a quick 15 because bodily needs of human beings are really unfortunate, but sometimes we gotta do that. So we will be back in a few, and we will see you then. And
Bye.
let's see if it actually switches.
Put it back, put it back, and put it back.
Where are you choosing to place yourself at the table when you approach? No.
I do love the face that we got for this one, though.
Well,
We had such good progress for a couple of
It
minutes.
was very good. Oh, that's the end
This
of the
is such a
session.
great
No.
this is such a great photo. I want to capture that.
Take a screen.
All right.
I really want like pixie form of like Eldritch Blast.
That's not me, though.
all right, Mickey Mouse.
As halflings, we can run through large creatures. I'm
Yes.
going to run between its legs and try to get his attention over here and say, "Hey, you're gonna stop that now."
His head does turn towards you, and the eyes light up again to blast, but as you come around and confront it in that way, there is a delay in the moment, and it gives Ave a moment to act before that fires off.
Put it back, put it back, put it back, put it back. I put it back.
I mean, when you take it out because you are shrunk, you feel like whatever it was attached to on the inside it snaps away from. So like it's like pulling out a weed. So like you can put it back on top, but it's just gonna sit there. It's not gonna be in the ground again, so to speak.
We definitely just killed this guy. Like, killed this guy. Oh, fuck.
Mask that you got, the pale visage, I did update that.
Cool.
So I'm gonna send you the updated version.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
The mask called the pale visage that Lyra found so far
Great!
back.
Great.
So
Just great.
all I had it marked down as, I don't think it had a name as far as I knew. I knew it was a white scaled mask that when I wore it, it
Yeah,
allowed me
it's
to
a
do
dragon
cold
scale
breath.
mask. Yep.
But it would
Yeah.
allow, I could feel something looking through the mask with me, so I didn't use it that often.
really sounds like Tiamat.
It really does
right
now.
there.
Yeah.
If you were
Fuck
to
Tiamat.
face, so Tiamat
Vinny?
could look through your eyes.
Yeah.
Vinny. Vinny, look at me. Look at me, Vinny. Go fuck yourself.
We haven't even started playing yet.
I'm having some emotions.
All the live long.
And her head shoots up. She looks at Yvette. And she looks at Sid, assuming that they're in generally the same eyesight area.
Usually.
And she says, Yvette, would you like to run an experiment with me?
God. And they're right back in. That's all you needed to say. Irreparable friendship, who?
Centaur experiment. They
you
slam that notebook closed, walk away from Ken, and go right up to Lyra and like, yes.
Together forever, we're Yvette and Lyra, best friends.
God, I hate how accurate that is.
Sid gets a sending message and just hears in their minds.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Here's,
Oh, fuck.
here's, Mama, I haven't failed you yet. Much improved. Where the hell have you been? Miss you. Fuck 'em up.
I will say you don't get that message.
What?
What?
You're not playing that character right now. You don't know what's going on. Sid, you have a nice daydream about a message from Maybe.
Oof.
Vinny. Ow.
Vincent, the fuck?
Didn't we... I just talked to you guys.
Yes, darling, catch up.
Flavor text.
Sure.
I smile at them, and my smile does that creepy little curly cue, and
Like
it's
a
just a
Cheshire cat.
row of teeth that are just all purple and green and just sinewy and just ugh. And it's terrible. Like bone, kind of thing. So, but like all curly Q and everything.
Insane.
This is your monthly reminder to never fuck with Lyra.
5e monk class things just by typing in crazy gun monk in Google.
That sounds
surprising.
That sounds super correct. Yeah, Kensai
Yeah,
monks with guns are really
technically speaking, thanks to Tasha's, gun monk can officially be a thing.
It is. I made a bunch. It was great.
Oh my God.
It was really fun.
I hate this.
Oh, they were great.
Next to Arc, Crazy Gun Monks. Party name.
Yeah, sure. I'll recommend that to the Dark Arc people.
I
Do you guys want to go get tattoos?
Fuck this.
Yes, tattoos. And
I would
then
like a
maybe...
tattoo, Papa.
Stab me, Daddy.
You didn't like that, Connie? I mean, Mel.
I got worse. It got worse when
when Nova talked.
Yeah. Yeah, I do that. I'm sorry.
Because I'm not sure I understand.
Is she acting good because she thinks acting good is going to keep everybody together, or is she just acting good because she got it all out of her system the night before?
She got most of it out of her system, so she's mellowed out.
Okay, that's all I was asking. Mellowette? Like just a little mellow? A small mellow?
She's mellowed.
You had to see that coming. I'm hanging up now.
Hi, Mel.
The party is lightly interrogated, sees Leon tied up and exhausted. He was in magic people cuffs, like with all the fingers. It was fun. We are accepted into the tribe, given jobs and a place to stay for the night, and instructed to report back in the morning for more stuff. Scaldy runs into her brother, shoots him in the foot.
A classic.
They do a little
Classic
talking.
Scaldy.
Yeah.
That moment did become like a defining moment for Scaldy as a personality trait.
I do love I remember so clearly, it was like, you see your brother there, and then there's just this pause, and you had to be like, what do you do? And then the pause lingered, and then it was, shoot him in the foot. Just total throwaway.
I was thinking of which was the least damaging to shoot.
Like an ash pile, but out of rocks, but like the size of a 4-story house. Like, it's huge.
Oh God.
It is humongous, and there's these little small entrances. That's like if you're like crawling on your hands and knees, you can get through it. And
Nope.
okay, it's barred off now in Ireland, but it's really cool. And
I would totally get involved in the barred off.
It's like these giant like caverns and corridors underneath these big structures. And so it would just be really cool to figure out how they came to be, in this world, in my hometown. Is this a just hill crag thing? Or is it everywhere else? Are there other ways that this is here? I'm just really curious, honestly. I feel like it would be an interesting thing to
Aliens.
Aliens.
Probably the least liked. Things that smelled awful, ratty mud off the street, and Onolove explained it as, if you give even the worst thing a chance to be better, there's a good chance it might happen. I mean, there's people. But there's not like a lot of people, but people.
Oh, I didn't know. I assumed we were the only 4 in the shop, so that's my mistake.
Well, I mean, his shop is kind of like an outdoor stall. Like, again, he's literally like that guy from the opening from Aladdin, where it's like
No, the face.
My
I want
mistake.
that face as our new group chat.
Please no. Please no.
It's happening.
Seriously, me. We're fucking.
round. How are we feeling, guys?
I am not feeling good.
Just fucking peachy.
Cool.
Did I take any damage from that real quick?
Oh, you took 14 damage. Thank you for reminding me.
So happy to help.
Never remind him.
Hey, did we have homework last night?
That was
I'm not drowning.
that was
I am sleeping so good.
that was kind of
Having
the
a nice time.
that was kind of the
This is
energy
a
that
good
got
afternoon.
tossed out.
No,
Funny
you're
shit.
good.
It's funny as
Fucking
shit.
hurts now.
Yeah, full stress to full laughter does that.
I'm gonna mute now. I'll be right back.
You go to your thing.
My
Something-
grandfather loves boxed wine, so maybe this is actually a good thing.
What's up, Azanar?
Something that is at least older than 15 years.
In a box?
In a box.
Do boxes live that long?
No, absolutely not.
I just
This
enjoy the phrase these
conversation.
boxes live that long.
This conversation.
Emphasis on live.
This is how I die, folks. Goodbye.
The crying.
Smoke
And
inhalation.
smoke inhalation. And she
That's amazing.
And maybe you guys are able to stealth around in the zoo. The animals are helping you. They don't know what you're doing, but they like go in front of you when the time is right.
Help.
Missy is very noticeable. I would say Missy probably does not help. But like there's a giant elk who's just like standing there, takes 2 steps forward to block your view, to block the view for a second, 2 steps back. So yeah, you guys are able to spy as these two go around and, you know, check out like all the animals. That was creepy.
It's the makeup.
flavor text.
Sure.
I smile at them, and my smile does that creepy little curly cue, and it's just a row of teeth that are just all purple and green and just sinewy and just ugh, and it's terrifying. Like bone, you know, kind of thing. So, but like all curly cuey and everything.
Insane.
This is your monthly reminder to never fuck with Lyra. My
Something-
grandfather loves boxed wine, so maybe this is actually a good thing.
What's up, Azanar?
Something that is at least older than 15 years.
In a box?
In a box.
Do boxes live that long?
No, absolutely not.
I just
This
enjoy the phrase these
conversation.
boxes live that long.
This
Emphasis
conversation.
on live.
This is how I die, folks. Goodbye.
The party is lightly interrogated, sees Leon tied up and exhausted. He was in magic people cuffs, like with all the fingers. It was fun. We are accepted into the tribe, given jobs and a place to stay for the night, and instructed to report back in the morning for more stuff. Scaldy runs into her brother, shoots him in the foot.
A classic.
They do a little
Classic
talking.
Scaldy.
Yeah.
That moment did become like a defining moment for Scaldy as a personality trait.
I do love I remember so clearly, it was like, you see your brother there, and then there's just this pause, and you had to be like, what do you do? And then the pause lingered, and then it was, shoot him in the foot. Just total throwaway.
I was thinking of which was the least damaging to shoot.
The crying.
Smoke inhalation.
And smoke inhalation. And
That's amazing.
Put it back, put it back, put it back, put it back!
I put it back!
I mean, when you take it out because you are shrunk, you feel like whatever it was attached to on the inside it snaps away from. So like it's like pulling out a weed. So like you can put it back on top, but it's just gonna sit there. It's not gonna be in the ground again, so to speak.
We definitely just killed this guy. Like, killed this guy. Oh, fuck.
No,
Funny
you're
shit.
good.
It's funny as
It
shit.
hurts now.
Yeah, full stress to full laughter does that.
I'm gonna mute now. I'll be right back.
You go to your thing.
Because I'm not sure I understand.
Is she acting good because she thinks acting good is going to keep everybody together, or is she just acting good because she got it all out of her system the night before?
She got most of it out of her system, so she's mellowed out.
Okay, that's all I was
for
asking.
now.
Mellowette? Like just a little mellow? A small mellow?
She's
You
mellowed.
had to see that coming.
I'm hanging up now.
Hi, Mel.
like an ash pile, but out of rocks, but like the size of a 4-story house. Like, it's huge.
Oh God.
It is humongous, and there's these little small entrances. That's like if you're like crawling on your hands and knees, you can get through it. And I mean, it's barred off now in Ireland, but it's really cool. And
I would totally get involved in the barred off.
It's like these giant like caverns and corridors underneath these big structures. And so it would just be really cool to figure out how they came to be, you know, in this world, in my hometown. Is this a just hill crag thing? Or is it everywhere else? Are there other ways that this is here? I'm just really curious, honestly. I feel like it would be an interesting thing to
Aliens.
Aliens.
5e monk class things just by typing in crazy gun monk in Google.
That sounds
surprising.
That sounds super correct. Yeah, Kensai
Yeah,
monks with guns are really.
Technically speaking, thanks to Tasha's, gun monk can officially be a thing.
It is. I made a bunch. It was great.
my God.
It was really fun.
I hate this.
Oh, they were great.
Next to Arc, Crazy Gun Monks. Party
Yes.
name.
Yeah, sure. I'll recommend that to the Dark Arc people. Alright.
I
Do you guys want to go get tattoos?
fuck this.
Yes, tattoos. And
I would
then
like a
maybe
tattoo, Papa.
Stab me, Daddy.
You didn't like that, Connie? I mean, Mel.
I got worse. It got worse when
When Nova talked?
Yes.
Yeah, I do that. I'm sorry.
Probably the least liked. Things that smelled awful, ratty mud off the street, and Onolove explained it as if you give even the worst thing a chance to be better, there's a good chance it might happen. Didn't we? I just talked to you guys.
Yes, darling, catch up.
Where are you choosing to place yourself at the table when you approach? No.
I do love the face that we got for this one, though.
We had such good progress for a couple of minutes.
It was very good. Oh, that's the end
This
of the
is such a
session.
great.
No.
This is such a great photo. I want to capture that.
Take a screen.
And her head shoots up. She looks at Yvette. And she looks at Sid, assuming that they're in generally the same eyesight area.
Usually.
And she
Usually.
says, Yvette, would you like to run an experiment with me?
God. And they're right back in. That's all you needed to say. Irreparable friendship, who?
Centaur experiment. They slam that notebook closed, walk away from Camden, go right up to Lyra and like, yes.
Together forever, we're Yvette and Lyra, best friends.
God, I hate how accurate that is.
As halflings, we can run through large creatures. I'm going to run between its legs and try to get his attention over here and say, hey, you're going to stop that now.
His head does turn towards you, and the eyes light up again to blast, but as you come around and confront it in that way, there is a delay in the moment, and it gives Ave a moment to act before that fires off.
Round. How are we feeling, guys?
I am not feeling good.
Just fucking peachy.
Cool.
Did I take any damage from that real quick?
Oh, you took 14 damage. Thank you for reminding me.
So happy to help.
Never remind him.
Hey, did we have homework last night?
That was
I'm not drowning.
that was-
I am swimming so good.
that was kind of the that was kind of the energy that got tossed out. Mask that you got, the pale visage. I did update that.
Cool.
So I'm going to send you the updated version.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
The mask called the Pale Visage that Lyra found so far back.
Great.
So
Great.
all I had it marked down as, I don't think it had a name as far as I knew. I knew it was a white scaled mask that when I wore it allowed me
it's
to
a
do
dragon
cold
scale
breath,
mask. Yep.
but it would allow, I could feel something looking through the mask with me, so I didn't use it that often.
That really sounds like Tiamat.
It really does
right
now.
There.
Yeah.
You
Fuck Tiamat.
face so Tiamat
Vinny?
can look through your eyes.
Yeah.
Vinny, look at me. Look at me, Vinny. Go fuck yourself.
We haven't even started playing yet.
I'm having some emotions.
All the live long. I really want like pixie form of like Eldritch Blast.
That's not me though.
All right, Mickey Mouse.
I mean, there's people. But there's not like a lot of people, but people.
Oh, I didn't know. I assumed we were the only 4 in the shop, so that's my mistake.
Well, I mean, his shop is kind of like an outdoor stall. Like again, he's literally like that guy from the opening from Aladdin, where it's like it's
Mel, the face.
My
I want that. I want that face as our new group chat.
Please no. Please no.
It's happening.
Seriously, me.
Sid gets a...
And we are back. Hello, folks.
Hi.
Back to you,
Good to see you all back. We got a little break in. Everyone's done the necessities, and now we're ready to start doing some cabin exploration. They've ridden Eugene across the shallow side of the pond, kind of cut across away from the 6 people, and now they're on the cabin dock. I did not build a map for this because I don't expect combat to be needed here, so it's all theater of the mind for this phase. So we're back to that other placeholder. But yeah, you guys all find yourselves on the dock. Are you parking Eugene there for your eventual exit, or is this something where you're planning on poofing them out and like going out and around a different way?
So what do you think? How likely is it that we have to make a quick exit in here?
There's a lot of good and bad of Eugene staying out. Good, we have a ride. Especially if he's not sitting inside the water that potentially makes him bigger. Bad, he lights up so things can see him.
Fair enough. I'm going to just maybe take, I don't know, a minute or so and focus on him intently and just try to bamf him out again.
All right. Yeah, it takes a moment, but without any distractions. It's just a little, maybe an extra 10 seconds, and then eventually you feel the pressure find the right thing, and he poofs. So you guys are all on the dock. You can see the 6 creatures there are now on the south of you, as you were on the east side of the pond, essentially, or lake. Lakes are bigger than ponds, yeah? Yeah. Yeah, there's an obvious front entrance, which you could see from even as far away as you had been when you were first observing it, but now you're standing by the door. Are you going to just head in? Are you going to like peek through some windows? You want to go around the back? Like, do you have some thoughts and options? Snipps, you are still in order of operations.
Okay, so you said the house was not abandoned, but currently just dark windows and stuff, right?
Yeah, like it's clear that nobody was in there at the moment with nightfall doing anything of action. Like maybe there's someone sleeping, but seems unlikely if there was something running around fighting and nobody woke up to check it.
Fair enough. I mean, if whatever poor soul is currently lying on the beach was tasked with or was in check of keeping some kind of illusion upright, if he's not here anymore, I guess we should still be cautious, but I at least would like to go around the structure to get a better look at it. just to see if there are any, I don't know, backdoor entrances or something like that. If there's
You can
maybe
start working
some
your way around. Quillz, what
obvious
are you up to?
things.
Does it smell particularly like, I don't know, like stinky, or like, are there any suspicious smells coming from this island / house?
It definitely smells similar to a lot of the smells you've smelled at the docks, but there does seem to be something a little more spoiled about this. Like maybe someone left some fish out that they shouldn't have, or similar, but like not neglected to a point where it's putrid. Just that little twinge of maybe it was left out too long.
And Quillz is
Something in that ballpark. I'm not saying that's what the smell is. Just that's the gist of
Well,
correlation.
I mean, if it was like going to be like sulfurous or something, Quillz would be like, all right, this is right. So she's just gonna like, all right, she's gonna like make a walk around the house and like peek through some windows if she can see in any, because being short.
Are you going around the same way that Snipps is going around, or are you going around the other way?
There are merits to both. For the safety of not knowing what the heck we are encountering, she's going to stick with Snipps.
Cool. Chanor, what are you trying at?
I'm going to... I think I'm just going to keep an eye out at the front door, so that way it lets my compatriots do a full lap and know, like, there's a beginning and end, and one of us doesn't randomly go missing. It's either if me and Bandage just go missing, then there's a whole other issue. So I'm gonna stay here, keep an eye out just in the general vicinity, and wait for them to circle back.
Cool. So you two are going around. Roll me perception checks as you're like trying to peek in windows.
14.
20.
Snipps, you like peek in, but nothing really jumps out at you from the window you're looking at. You see, like, you obviously, like, your eyes gravitate towards the kitchen, and you're like, oh, that's a little disappointing. It looks a little small. That's not even a good stove. Like, your brain just kind of, like, catalogs a few, like, disappointments about whoever needs to cook food in this place.
I don't even have fresh herbs in here. What are you doing?
Quillz, you're at a window or two down, and you peek in, and you're like, that's a lot of documents, and it looks like handwritten notes, and there's some books over there, and there's like a bunch of scrolls under there. So you're like identifying a lot of research that seems to have been going on, or at least reading, if not writing. And as you guys continue to circle, you do see a second entrance. It's not on the initial structure. That seems to have been the only front. The front door seems to be the only door for that, but the extension has a door on the back side, essentially. And that little second structure that's a little taller than the actual original house doesn't have any windows. You could try to peek through the slats, but it'll be another quick perception check from each of you. And I won't do it as demand because you're already, again, you're not under any duress, so there's no reason to put pressure on it.
Yeah.
That's 12 on my part.
I got another 20.
So Snipps, you're trying to peek in, but because you're a little draconic snout, you can't quite get the right angle get your eyes close enough.
I'm also 2 feet 4, so probably just about reaching the height of the slits.
And you're like looking in the slit, and it turns out that you can't see anything, but you don't know that there's a desk right there. Quillz, you peek in, and you can make out there's like, it's not a very official looking room, but like it gives you the impression of either like they were cleaning things if they were hunters or fishers, or like it's a makeshift surgery. It's kind of muddled, but like there's a lot of tools, a very weird metal table, and some stains that imply that things were like cut up here.
So Chanor would love this. Got
it. Probably will be at home, yes.
Okay.
But you two make your way around the rest of the outside of the building, and when you get back to the docks, Chanor and Bandage are nowhere to... I'm just kidding. So they're standing there, and they're just like, cool. So you guys make it back to the front door. Now you know there's a second door. Do you want to go split up and go into both of them? Do you want to pick one or the other? Like, what's the next step for y'all?
I want to go in the front door.
Main house first.
Main house first.
Okay.
Chanor, there is a room that I think you would find particularly intriguing, but it's towards the back. But we can make our way through the house until we get to that room.
Okay. Sounds fine to me.
If I'm trying the door, is the door locked?
It opens right up. It doesn't even have like a turn handle. It's literally just like a little wooden holder to make sure the wind doesn't blow it open, and you can just knock it up and pull.
Yeah, I'm just going to pull it, instruct the others to stand aside just in case, and just pull on the door so I'm behind the door when it swings open. Just in case, I don't know.
There's something nice about the idea of like three of you sitting at the docks. You walk over the door and you're like, okay, everyone stand back just in case, and then you pull it open so if anything did come out, it's targeted at the two of them.
No,
No, we're
I told
behind.
them to get out of the way.
The way I pictured it was just incorrect, but I still think it's hilarious.
It is, but also Snipps is
but
not the
nothing happens.
smartest. Snipps is not that stupid.
You pull it open,
I hope.
and there's just about a 3 count. I'm assuming one of you peeks eventually, and you just see a room. It goes right into the kitchen area first, and then passes through that to get to like the common space where there's a couple of chairs, a couple of tables. One was clearly supposed to be a dining table, but like is covered in papers. The desk has like a dried up quill and inkwell, but like there's some stuff that was in the middle, and notes and tabs, and they're organized in some fashion, but it's hard to get a sense of that from here. But otherwise, there's not a lot of complicated furniture. There are a couple of oil lanterns around, ones that are kind of windshielded.
Are they lit?
No, they're currently off, but you could turn them on to get a better view of things, but like you're not seeing. I mean, a lot of you have dark vision anyway, so it's not like you're impeded. But yeah, you're just seeing a very not heavily decorated house. There's maybe a couple of little keepsakes of like an old bracelets that's just sitting on the desk. There's some clothes off to one side that don't look like they've been washed, but they also don't look like they've been worn down to bare. They were just kind of like a laundry pile that hasn't ever been cleaned yet. Yeah, like nothing is jumping out at you that makes this weird. It's just clearly somebody was in the middle of some nonsense, and they have not really focused on keeping things tidy.
I'm going to step into the room and basically take a gander over to the kitchen, and I'm just going to investigate the kitchen basically and look for any kind of remnants of food, or maybe some fresh food that they've kept there, to basically get kind of a rough understanding of how long it has been since someone has last eaten in here or has been in here, if possible.
That's actually a good call. Roll me an investigation check. You're going to get a lot of stuff by default, but let's see how accurate you can get on timelines.
Ooh, 23.
Nice. So at a first glance, you see that like it was probably never a terribly well-stocked kitchen. Like that's got a few essential tools, but even that, like the knives aren't very sharp. This person clearly isn't taking a lot of pride in their cooking. There is an icebox.
Who even does that?
There is an icebox and a pantry, and as you check them both, the pantry has a lot of staples. Nothing really overused, nothing running low, but everything's kind of been opened and touched on. Like there's breadcrumbs, there's flour, there's spices of various types, some grains that have been dried out and could be reconstituted. In the icebox, that's where there's been a clear problem of neglect. It's obvious that the icebox has not been restocked with ice in a while, and as a result, the stuff that's in there is the stuff that's spoiled, but because it hasn't been exposed to the general oxygen, like that light smell was what was kind of wafting out of the edges, and as soon as you open it, you just get hit with that burst of, like, fish and some vegetables. Like, they're not touching each other, but they're, like, stored properly in different sections, but they're all kind of, like, in half decay. So maybe 2 weeks since everything kind of went last touched.
Okay. I'm just going to gingerly close up the icebox again because I want us to be able to actually breathe in here.
Fair. Yeah, after about 30 seconds, Snipps is finally like walking back and the waft hits you two not nearly as badly.
I'd say this house has been abandoned for maybe one, probably 2 or more weeks. At least judging from, and I just point my head in the direction of the stench.
Quillz, what are you focusing on?
The books and the quills and the scrolls.
I would like to give Quillz the help action because there's nothing I specifically want in this room at the moment.
Yeah.
That all tracks. So yeah, roll me an investigation check also, with advantage for you.
Yeah, good. 15.
Cool. So the biggest hit you're getting is that there's a couple of languages in play, but because you are so learned, you're able to piece together, like, in that way that, like, English and Spanish and Italian kind of have similar roots of certain words. You can kind of parse out some key structures of things even when it's not in a language that you're completely aware of. And you're getting the gist that the person was doing research into the weird effects on the lake. And from the notes, a few things you conclude are that you are more certain that those were corpses at one point who are out there playing in the Blight now. The person sort of started off with the assumption this might be a fountain of like youth or resurrection or life or something like that, but has quickly determined that that's not quite what's happening here. But they also started to notice that the fish they were eating started to have like weird visual effects over time, and then them eating the fish started causing them to have some effects, and then they started drinking the water from the lake, like they boil it and try to do some filtering, but it didn't change the fact that like they started noticing some actual effects that were happening to them. But then they realized the power that they were unlocking and sort of embraced it. And there are statements in there about them having more specific magical capabilities that you have not yet seen them do, but definitely more intricate and thoughtful than the random just like energy bursts that the other weirdos are doing.
Is there any hint that the person, like, can I tell from this notes that the half elf, half goblin is the one who was like, this is his house and these are his notes?
Ooh.
Are the notes in Elvish or Goblin?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fair. Yeah, that actually makes sense. No, yeah, that's such an obvious way to calculate that. I'm like, I know it is. I just don't know what would show that, but that is exactly what would show that. And yes, that's what happened.
Okay.
So they're kind of writing their notes in Spanglish, but the orc elf or the goblin elvish version of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Goblish.
Gobelvish. Gobelvish.
Elvish.
And every once in a while,
Elvoblin.
there's just those one or two words in common where it's like tater tot.
Kindergarten.
Yeah, you get a strong sense. Like, you can't really tell if they made any conclusive discoveries at a first like pass through. There's nothing pointing to them really unlocking any deep secrets. All they know is that the notes do get a little bit more excited and manic about the potential and like how they feel, and it stopped getting it started getting subjective instead of objective over time.
Could I take some of these notes with me?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You
Okay,
can probably
so
carry most of the ones on the desk, and the stuff on the counter, the like scrolls that were rolled up. Some of them you actually recognize from your library as being taken out, which does mean that you could probably backtrace who took them out and get a name on this person eventually. But as of right now, I'll say that you don't have it at the tip of your tongue. But they are like, it's old research into like arcane logic and lore of the area and the original Blight. Once he started to make the connection, he clearly did a little bit of research into the Blight itself.
Yeah,
But
I'm definitely grabbing the scrolls that are from the library. Just
yes,
on
I figured you
principle.
would want those.
Yes. Yeah, I'm
Don't
just gonna
know.
those are the
spell
priority, but
scrolls.
I'm grabbing what I can. Like, I'm
No.
grabbing like everything that I can carry.
Am I residually understanding any of it? Like, is either Quillz telling me, or am I just also looking at the same stuff? Or I don't, because I'm giving advantage. I'm just wondering if I'm gaining any of this knowledge secondhandly.
Quillz is like speaking through any of the translating, then you're absorbing and connecting it all. Otherwise, you're seeing the diagrams, illustrations, and other like notations that are in common or a language that you understand, and you can at least parse out. You're not going to get as much of the linguistic add-on of being able to parse full thoughts, but you're getting a lot of the strong gist, and you're probably parsing the diagrams and those things more, because there are a lot of more medical and biological stuff. So it's observations that you would be able to understand why that drawing looks different, or that the drawing is showing signs of a thing that's being documented.
Gotcha. Yeah, because besides athletics and acrobatics, my only 3 other skills are in medicine, arcana, and history. So when you said it was historical study of magic and blight, I was like, oh, that's literally the only things I have now. I know stuff about. So.
Oh cool. Yeah, you're putting a lot of the soft stuff together. So when Quillz starts explaining stuff to you, you're just like, that fills in that gap. Oh yeah, no, yeah, I saw that was like that. Okay, cool. And like a lot of that, like finishing sentences and like being like, oh, cool, that supplements the thing. Oh, what about this thing? That looked like that. Oh, was that cool? Like,
and this is from your library.
I read 2 other documents from the same person. This is the 3rd thing. I was looking for this last week, but it was taken out.
Hey guys, the icebox is rotting.
The icebox is rotting.
And I helped.
It is great because, like, as stupid as that sounds, you are the only one of us 3 that could probably figure out how long ago someone stopped existing in this space. Because of...
Yeah, you're good at figuring out why they stopped existing, and Quillz is just there for the whole paper trail thing.
Because of exactly how moldy this one bagel is, I can tell you.
From having seen what a sealed icebox can
it's
do.
elementary, my dear Watson.
But yeah, that's everything in the common space. There is like a little ladder that goes up to a loft space up top. That definitely looks like it's a lot of like clothes, mattresses, old blankets, stuff like that. It might be where the sleeping happened. You're not entirely sure, but it's definitely where like extra fabric and linens were kept. And then there's the side door that goes to that other add-on. Sorry, I thought you were just making the thing of like about to say something. I thought you froze. Chanor and then Chanor and then Snipps.
Anyways, yeah, no, because you mentioned it, and now this is just also this would be potentially part of the curiosity after reading or gaining some of this knowledge. Could I figure out where the individual might have actually slept to see, like, did they have weird sweats in the middle of the night? Did they sleep at all, or were they only like up reading all the time? Like what exactly? Like, I don't know if sleeping was important or trancing or whichever resting they do, but like, did they need to do any like stuff relative to that?
When you do crawl up there, you do see some of the sheets do have those types of stains on them. These are the ones that have been cleaned, so the fact that they have stains mean that there probably was some night sweats that have occurred. And then that kind of prompts you. You don't see the mattress here. You go back down, you check the laundry, and there's like a fresher set of sheets that haven't been washed, where it's like way more pungent. That's a lot of seawater, or not seawater, lake water scent, like that sort of murky smell to it. And that saltiness, and because you know it's a freshwater lake, even though it's named Brain, that kind of implies that there's some sweat involved more so than just the water itself.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's definitely that sort of like when someone has a fever and they have the sweats and you can kind of smell the illness on the blanket. It's got that feel to it.
So you mentioned there not being really anything in terms of decorative pieces or pieces of jewelry or something like that, except for a bracelet on one of the tables. Could I get a look, or could I get a closer look of that bracelet?
It does. It looks like it's got either silver or electrum as the metal. It's kind of hard to make out specifically in the low light in here, but it's definitely one of those like. Cool. Then it's silver.
Okay.
and it's inlaid with alternating blue and yellow sapphires.
Oh, that's pretty. Can I make
ones, but still.
Can I make an Arcana check or something like that to see if there's anything magical about it?
I will
Otherwise,
say
I'm
you
going to
can.
bring it out and look through Eugene at it.
No, no, you do the Arcana check, but yeah, there's nothing magical about this.
Oh, okay.
It's just it actually
it's
doesn't
just
even
a
look
pretty-
like it belonged to them. It looks like it was for someone with smaller wrists. And even though you can tell that they've kind of lost some weight from, or I guess Chanor would be able to tell that they might have lost some weight from where they used to sweat through all this stuff compared to how they live now. But yeah, it definitely seems like it's a little too small for their wrists.
I'm going to take that with me. Or yeah, I'm just going to pocket it, and if any of the others notices, I'm just gonna say, "Don't worry, I have a use for it."
Cool. Quillz, what have you been up to while they've been stealing bracelets and smelling sheets?
Yeah. She's gonna make her way to that room that is either like a surgery or like the like cleaning room or something. She's gonna like try and find her way over there, and then she's gonna say, "Hey, Chanor, I found your room."
I've never been here before. Oh.
So yeah, you pop the door in that, and it's laid out pretty bare. There's like a bench, a smaller little desk with a few sheets of paper for note taking. You can tell that the notes were probably made in here when needed and brought into the other room for reference, but they don't seem to have any fresh notes left in here. There are a couple more illustrations, medical style illustrations, kind of like denoting things off to one table, but they're clearly previous attempts at ones that you already have seen in the other room. Like these are like bad sketches that they had to redo because they like screwed something up. That's now just used for scrap paper essentially. So there's like a couple keywords scribbled, but nothing that makes any sense because it's all sort of jumbled little bits of nonsense. But there's a metal table, and there are straps, but like it looks like the straps have never been used. So like there's no wear on where the buckle pulls on the leather. But there's a little bit of dried probably blood. It's a red fluid, but you know, it's not. It hasn't oxidized the same way, same brown way that fresh blood should in a normal humanoid. And there are some like surgical tools. It looks Chan more like a setup for doing postmortems rather than anything that's helpful. It's sort of just like peeling layers back, cranking things open.
So autopsy versus like biopsy.
Exactly. Like this is not made for anyone to get better on this table.
Gotcha.
And the tools also kind of reflect that. Like they aren't clean. Like they've been cleaned in a like like clearly someone took a cloth and like wiped them down after use, but nobody's done a proper like sterilization. There's still like little specks of stuff in the teeth of some of the things. But there's much better. There's like a couple of lights that have like reflective bowls attached to them to like direct the light a little bit more specifically. This has a little staircase that goes upstairs, and when you poke your heads up there, you see that there is a small little bed that's up in that room where they've probably been sleeping. And again, that those sheets do look like they've soaked through a little. And all the sweating, like all the stains, have that sort of same bluish green tint without being shiny, but they all have that kind of like light tone to them. Yeah, again, there's not a lot of personal items. It's mostly like there's a couple change of clothes up by the bed. There's some shoes that you realize like clearly haven't been moved in a while. Like they're just dusty enough that like it's clear that nobody put them on for a few weeks. And for a note, the thing that's outside tied up is basically nude. So yeah.
Oh. You say basically nude, like
like there's nothing like blatantly exposed or dangling, but like as far as you can tell below the illusion, like they're not, if they're wearing anything, it's at best like a couple pieces of underwear, maybe a t-shirt, but it's not obvious, and like they're not wearing shoes, they don't have gloves on, and there's no hats, no like coat, like it's a lot of not a lot of clothes.
But not a lot.
So clearly over time as they started going swimming more, they were using their clothing and shoes less.
How does that Natasha Bedingfield song go? Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it.
No, stop.
Chanor, I will
I
also
did not
note...
understand that acoustically, but I kind of glad I didn't. I guess.
It's a good song.
Chanor, yeah. No, Chanor, the diagrams that you have gathered, they do all imply that like at some point he has taken the things that you saw outside and like has run tests on them and like basically checked them for different things. Possibly before they got reanimated, you're not 100% sure. Quillz, you have more of awareness that he was definitely like adding the lake water from like that thicker lower region that he was like pulling out by doing some diving and like using it directly on these bodies and trying to test to see what the effects were based on what concentration level he was issuing. So and once you guys compare notes, you'll be able to like piece all this stuff together. But for right now, you are dealing in two halves of the same whole.
Gotcha.
But
yeah, I just wanted to. Basically, the one thing I was wondering is like, could I make sense that with no straps being used, with the other specific details that it was the unanimated forms that were getting tested on, basically, which you basically confirmed that I knew that much at the very least.
Exactly. It got there. I did mean to mention that more blatantly for you, but I kind of forgot. But we still got there.
No, that's fine. Related to that, I guess there's two things I have questions about, and I don't know if this is more Vinny thinking it or Chanor in this moment. One, is there a way to deanimate these bodies besides, killing them?
They're already dead.
Well, that's the thing is, I don't know whether or not it would be good or bad to do it anyway. Like, is it just is it moral or immoral to do it? Like, that's a whole.
So, from the notes that Quillz has, there hasn't been a point where he has been able to get them to interact in a conscious sort of way. So at most, he seems to have confirmed he has animated the bodies. He has no idea the mind or spirit or anything close to that sort of identity has stayed attached. Another thing that I should have pointed out earlier that I kind of looked over, this is more for Snipps. When you were in the kitchen, you did notice a bunch of jars of water. And we can circle back to that in a minute if you want to actually explore them. But
so
I mean,
basically, like some sample sizes.
No, they're like. You notice that there's no like fresh water for drinking here aside from the lake, and you can probably assume that like not only was he doing this, but he also had his own little stockpile of things, and each one had like color markers on them for different things. And once you guys all compare notes, you'll be able to tell that these are different depth levels, and like there are little notations on some of them that are like percentages, and you realize that he was like boiling them down to see if the concentration changed the magical concentration, and all of a sudden like he was just doing different levels of toying with how this affected what.
I'm just going to spread my knowledge and share it with the other two.
But when I come back and share what little eurekas I had as well, so people know what I'm seeing.
Is there any space that anyone wants to search a little more thoroughly, or are we just going to go it's like clearly visible and assume? That's because there at least because of the low amount of decoration, for sure there doesn't seem to be like a wall safe or like a storage thing or any like weird hidden drawers or stuff.
That was my other question, which is I'll actually say that to the group before we decide about rechecking areas. Is if this individual didn't bring a lot of stuff, was it them assuming they were not going back to a normal life, or did they get hired and brought out here and left their personal belongings at home, or did they just not have a lot of personal belongings? It feels like this person either had a detachment from others or was being pushed into a detachment from something.
Well, it could have been this was just started off as just a hobby.
they bought a house in the middle of a lake as a hobby.
I mean, fishermen
I mean,
do it
people
all the
do
time.
weird things for hobbies.
Yeah.
Ooh, point of order. One of you, probably Quillz, would most likely know that this is unlikely to have started off as a property that was like built for sale or for living in. That sort of awareness that this looked kind of like it was a boathouse. It seems more to you from having maybe heard of research sites that this might have just been like a boathouse that was converted to like a research place, and that it's theoretically not abnormal that people wouldn't bring a lot of personal belongings if they were coming to and from for research purposes.
Right. So this could have been like they lived somewhere else, but like came here to work essentially.
Yeah,
And
then
got caught up in
weeks
his
ago
work.
somehow kind of got occupied. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then his lack of personal belongings and effect does make sense.
Make more sense. Cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I wanted clarity on, because that's like that matters. Like the reason to be here matters.
Yes.
Yeah. Are there any drawers?
Especially
in
the way I run my world. Like that is smart information you're looking for.
Yes. Are there drawers in the desks? Either of them?
None. Like they're just tables. They're like or table desks. They don't have any storage in them. If you guys are looking for less obvious places where things might be, you can roll me an investigation check, or when you can just use the help action while the other one rolls with advantage.
What do you guys add to investigation, out of curiosity?
I had 3.
5. I just roll bad. I'm quite decent stat-wise.
Chanor will help out Quillz, and will make Bandage help out Snipps.
Nice move. Using that familiar.
I rolled a 14. So with the help, that's +5. So
cool.
That was a 17 and an 18 on the die, meaning I'm at 23.
The help action means you roll with advantage, I think, right, Griff?
Oh yes, no, I had special help action with a certain characters because of your weird relationships. You guys are more in sync now, so it can be a standard advantage roll.
Oh, standard advantage roll. Cool.
Sorry.
Cool. You're good.
23 for me.
23.
Cool.
Yeah. My perception is shit. My investigation is brilliant.
Yes. Okay.
I will say that you go back into the kitchen and kind of like dig through a little bit closer now that you're starting to realize that there was more blatant experiments. I guess this is when you would notice that the jars of water have like notations on them for those other details, but you also realize that like in the back of the pantry there's just like one section that seems a little shallow, and as you like move a couple things out of the way, there's like a plaque that kind of just falls down, and behind it are like smaller vials. Vials each have an amount of thicker liquid, which it's probably easy to estimate that this might be concentration of that. Like, actually, you've seen it through Snipps' eyes, or so through Eugene's eyes. The second liquid flow that was happening seems to have been like
the underwater
of that
river
that has been concentrated down. Yeah.
Ooh.
So
we have
found
concentrated blight stuff.
6 vials of that. And you also have, or I'm sorry, the other 2 of you, as you're like looking around, you feel like there's like a tiny little fireplace sort of thing attached to the main house. Or no, there wouldn't be because it's a fucking boathouse. There's like a little
like
stove that's been put in. Yeah, like some kind of heater thing that's been brought in. It's just like a little, essentially a radiator that you let's load coals into, and he has a way to vent it out by like leaning the pipe out the window. It's very rudimentary, but you realize that like what it's sitting on is like that telltale sign of like scraped feet. So you like move it where it looks like, and you realize one of the planks comes loose, and then there's a second journal in there. That one has like the weird manic stuff of like comes across a little more cultish. It's only like 8 pages in. Like he didn't get very far into filling this one up, but it's a lot of stuff about like how he feels when drinking the lake water, and like all the different feelings and powers and energies. And there is some notation about hoping he can see his wife again, And you get a slight impression that the bracelet probably belongs to someone who passed away, and once he started figuring out that this stuff might bring dead people back, he kind of got obsessed and weird about it. So, like, there's a lot of stuff in there just sort of, like, making his obsession obvious, and how that twisted one single statement of drink and change. You also get the impression of him, like, spitting up water over and over again, was trying to, like, force feed you, like baby bird style.
Okay.
That's both cute and disturbing.
Yep. Yeah. Things went wrong.
If I help both of them...
Oh, did they now?
If I'm helping both of them, can I not check another place by myself? Or...
I mean, you guys have as much time as you want here.
Okay.
Like, there's no real threats. I mean, you might start getting to a point where you should be asleep, but, like, you could crash here technically if you need to. Like, it doesn't seem unsafe. There doesn't seem to be any other random threats that you're...
I don't want to crash
like...
here. Quillz doesn't want to crash
I'm assuming not, but I'm just saying. Like...
Just... Chanor really wants to do an investigation on... or in general, check out both of the bedrooms one more time, just because that feels like a spot normally where people keep the personal stuff. I know we found a lot of stuff, but just to give it a once-over again. And if there's nothing, you can just have me not roll, but I just, like, that's something Chanor would do, so...
I won't have you roll. I will say that, like, under the pillow in the one that he slept in, there's, like, a letter from someone who was clearly, like, sick and not doing well, and, like, you know, was trying to put them at ease before they knew they might pass away, that sort of thing. It's like that last memento that was reread too many times, the fold's a little too worn down, that kind of thing.
Gotcha. I will...
Also, just for my own understanding, did the research claim that the sort of reanimated dead bodies that we've been seeing playing in the water were his doing? So basically, he went there and the dead bodies were reanimated by the Blight water by
That's
him,
an interesting
or
clarification. So there's definitely notations of him finding a couple of these things wandering around. He was originally just here to test the water. He found like a couple of things that he thought were sick people, and then realized that they must have drowned in the lake at some point in the past. And then from that point on, like, went and got a few bodies, like, did a little, like, light grave robbing and, like, moved some people over to see what happened. But he ran his own experiments after some speculation. But out of the 6, he might be responsible for 3 to 4, as far as you can guess. You know for certain that he came across 2 and ran tests on them first.
There's no signs that this person, like, murdered people, though. It was more grave robbery.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Had a history in probably medicine and was able to procure the bodies without...
Correct.
So not as nefarious as it potentially could be.
I will say that when you get back to town and, like, check the records of, like, who took out those scrolls, it's going to be someone that, like, Quillz, you've seen this person come and go, you've probably talked to them because they're another intelligent person who does a lot of reading, and you're going to be like, oh crap, I did not recognize them because they changed so much that is weird. Yeah, like, it'll... in the future, this will be a thing that makes more sense. But for right now, in this moment, you're kind of locked into just the real creepy Crosta level of what's happening here.
Could we...
when Snipps and Quillz were looking around outside, did we notice any freshly turned dirt that could have possibly been where he was keeping his wife?
No, there is a notation of him making note that preserving her has been complicated, but he doesn't explain how or when or where.
Okay.
That he's worried that, like, he was worried that he was running out of time faster than he thought he might. Chanor.
Is it possible for us to bring all of our collective knowledge together that we've been piecing together to hypothesize or think about these 2 underwater currents, and if they are both a singular type of current versus a singular type of water with 2 currents versus 2 completely separate individual things that are flowing different directions as well?
Between some of the notes and what Snipps has been able to say, I can give you guys this one for free. Once you start thinking about that more, a couple of estimations that you're not going to be able to verify without putting yourself underwater to like spot check stuff, but like some things you can probably make soft estimations about. Knowing that the blight's affecting the forest to the northish more than west of Opehc, as well as now there being a blatant light leak into this lake. The fact that the vials have a higher density of liquid is probably kind of like oil and water, so the flow separation seems to be that, but it does seem to saturate into the actual lake water slowly. Like it does diffuse, it's just not fast. And the reason you're not seeing it in the river the same way as the lake, even though it obviously has to pass under from somewhere else and is likely seeping into the river too, it's washing away down the river so quickly that like the concentrations are not building up in one spot. So it's probably just kind of like lightly poisoning a lot of people downriver, but not really doing it in a way that's nearly as noticeable, as it's not being able to distribute as easily.
So its origin is in the forest.
Well, you know it because of what's happening in Lorda. You know that there's some blight in the forest as well, and from the original story, that's where it seemed to be. The creature seemed to be coming out of.
Could I maybe try to triangulate, because I've seen where the sort of river of blight infested water flows. Could I maybe try to make out where it starts and where it actually seeps into the lake?
So that's going to be tough because it's basically like bubbling up like an underwater spring essentially.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
whatever it is happening under the lake water or underground in the lake, but it was on the western side, so it's definitely like closer to town. And this is the concerning part that you guys would be able to essentially estimate is likely, is that if there's blight in the forest and there's blight on the side of the lake that is closer to the town, there's likely a lot of blight under the town.
Yep.
Like, it is very likely there's a flow, if nothing else. If it's not a flow, then, like, it could be radiating from there. Like, everything west of the lake seems... Because this is, like, a tiny little burst-off where, like, you know the forest was a, like, producing monsters source at one point in time. So the connective logic implies that the town is definitely on a path somehow.
Probably my last question related to this, and I don't know if I can roll for this or anything. Does it seem or feel like that the only magic that is being produced here is from the blight? Or does it feel... Was there already some source of magic here that the blight then like fused with and made these odd effects? Or is there potentially two separate things?
Blight-centric.
Gotcha, okay. That was just...
what I will have you roll for, and this is going to be very softly speculative, like you basically have to get a 19 or higher. But roll me an Arcana check or a history check, because I know you have advantage. But if you have a higher in one versus the other, I'll let you lean that way.
Arcana and history are both
equal.
If you're going to do an Arcana check, because I'm a proficient in Arcana, can I maybe give him advantage?
So it's more he's because he asked about a specific style of information. It's not like if he's talking out loud, I guess you could contribute to the conversation. Oh yeah, we could say do the help action on that. Like if you're talking it out.
I'll take an advantage. Thank you. A nat 20, a 14 and a nat 20. So I will take a nat 20.
Damn. All right.
Thank you for the advantage.
Rephrase the question for me again, or say the question again, just so I know what I'm focusing on, or what the last observation was. I guess
the last thing that Chanor was kind of trying to figure out was basically, was there a secondary form of magic that cohabitates anywhere around here? Because we know magic is rare in general, but the effects from here seem real different from the effects that the stories we're hearing from the forest.
Yeah. Okay.
So
here's what you kind of conclude as you're talking it out. At least the theoretical potential of this is something that seems like a fair conclusion with what you folks are learning.
Gotcha.
While magic is softly peppered around the area, deep magic is obviously not very strong here, and you do remember hearing stories of deep magic pre-blight. and connecting this information, you don't think that the blight is so much a contributing factor of magic, but more that like it might be poisoning it and co-opting the magic and sort of like keeping it in a way. And that when things interact with the blight, they by accident also get magical sub-properties that are attached to it. Yeah, the conclusion's gonna be closer to the idea that like it's soaking up magic somehow, and that's why magic seems to have faded out as stories of blight in the area have come in. And now you're very curious of how much other places, if they're having similar problems of low magic, or if this is just here because of blight. Like, you have now questions, but like
way more
connective logic
questions.
that you're piecing together. Yeah.
Whenever there's an answer, there's 5 more questions behind it. Yeah. Alright, so I finished word vomiting that up with Snipps' help, and just say, we should go home. We have so much.
Yeah,
we have so much
honestly,
to do.
I wish we could do like a video production of this stuff, because I can totally see you and Snipps doing the thing where you are doing the Jeff Goldblum thing, like, that's plates. We saw stuff on the plates earlier where there was residue, dew. You know what was the lake has? There's dew around the water, and Snipps is just like, yeah, and there's honeydew melon too, and you're like, sure.
And Quillz is just reading the scrolls and going through all of the notes again, because she's just like, they're off on the thing.
And then as they
Quillz is just doing the actual work, and Snipps and Chanor just off on tangent after tangent after tangent after tangent, which then
somehow you trip
kind
over
of
the answer.
manages to wraps all the way around to being actually intelligent again.
Do
you're not wrong.
Do rhymes with two. There are 2 currents, and just.
Oh, you know what's a better reference for it? It's the really, really old Batman and Robin show. Like 60s one with Adam West.
Oh,
whenever he was trying to solve one of the
that's
Riddler's puzzles, that is how he would do the hops, and they were always so random and nonsensical. I've only seen clips on YouTube, but I'll find one and share it.
It's like the movie equivalent of so bad it's good. This is so stupid it's intelligent.
We've made full circle.
Oh, so dumb it's smart again.
That's kind of great. I do like that. That sounds like the tagline for our team. Is so stupid they're intelligent.
And then there's Quillz.
And then there's Quillz.
Yeah.
Cool.
Quillz is just a mascot because they're actually competent.
She's just like.
Yeah, you guys get to a conclusion, and Quillz looks up and goes, "Oh yeah, I read that in that document over there specifically."
That was 20 minutes ago.
I'm just reading an old
later.
newspaper.
I'm glad you got there. But...
I'm just reading an old newspaper now. I'm bored.
Y'all
the
lost.
jackasses.
Y'all lost me.
All right.
Are we ready to go now?
I think so. I'm gonna take some of these samples, and like I don't know if I want to, but I feel like they're potentially. Problem is, Vinny knows in this world if I take samples, something very good or very bad is gonna happen because of Griffin. But
Snipps, roll me a Constitution check. It is a Constitution check. Roll me a Constitution check. Save. A Constitution save.
Oh, safe. Thank you. 7.
Oh god.
So you were the one who spotted the things originally, and you haven't collected them yet, but you were like definitely going to. And Chanor goes over and collects them, and you just feel this like intense possession of like, I was gonna take those, and you lick your lips and just feel a little bitter about it.
Should Quillz roll a perception check to see if she sees Snipps do that?
I suppose you could.
Okay.
Chander's oblivious.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you're busy like getting the things, so you're just facing the wrong way.
Yeah.
I rolled a 12. I probably don't see that. Dang it.
Trying to figure out how to like put like these glass vials and glass jars together where they don't fucking crack.
Okay, in that case, I'll because I assumed I had already just taken them.
If you said, did you say you took them?
No, this is
okay.
funnier now. He never stated it, but I assumed it was also implied. But at the same time, like this is better.
Okay.
Okay.
I just assumed they existed.
I'll just erase them from
Sorry.
my inventory. No, I was going to definitely take those and maybe give one to Josepha and maybe also one to Hilda because she was going to do some research on Blight-related
Cool.
stuff.
This is great. I'm
Yeah.
glad that the drama's
You haven't
working out.
You haven't seen Hilda in a while.
No, I haven't. I was busy doing a well.
Yeah, we had a wake and a funeral and some other shit
Yeah,
going on.
we had to bury someone. I was preoccupied.
I'm sure Hilda might have come to the funeral just to pay her respects, but maybe not the funeral, but the wake.
Possibly. Probably.
Maybe.
Il est possible.
Although you can't remember if you saw her or not.
It was kind of a dazed day.
Snipps definitely does not remember.
But yeah, you guys can head back. How are you going? Are you going around past those 6 things again, or are you going to go the long way around? You obviously, if you summon Eugene, there's no like he's back to normal size, so that's not going to work.
Unless we shove him under the water again.
I was going to ask whether or not we want to take that risk.
You absolutely can. There's no reason not to, technically.
Do we think at this point, do we know if it's ingested or just being in it?
That's the thing. It seems to be exposure in general. Like, definitely ingesting it seems to be more abrupt, but bathing in it is also going to, like, saturate at some level over time. But because crabs, they do kind of, like, filter whatever water they were in a little more actively. Like, it definitely sped up faster with Eugene than it probably would have if it was a normal, like, if you had sent the goat in and it was holding its breath, probably would have been a lot slower of a growth rate.
So like, if I call Gauze over, like, swimming over, would it would happen, but it would be slow.
Yeah.
Okay. I can probably just call Gauze over. So unless you want a giant Eugene, it is kind of great.
I mean,
that's up to you.
It is. It is kind of cool to have a giant crab at your side, but also I'm not going to go through town trying to figure out how to steer this mountain of crab flesh.
I'm partially disappointed that I don't get to have the town react to you and your giant crab.
But at the same time, we're safer for it.
Probably.
Yeah.
There's definitely some contingent that would have been like, kill it!
Yeah. Also, there's like...
I mean, also, we have the vials of concentrated blight stuff, so if you really wanted to, we
if
can
we
just
need an emergency,
pour one out.
An emergency giant crab, we're just like, Eugene!
This is not a pour one out situation. No.
Go get your giant Eugene.
Alright,
Yeah.
can I see Gauze, like, over the other side of the lake and just, like, whistle for them to come over?
Yeah, there's no reason not to.
Okay. So
in fact, like, God's not really like having the same mental connection. Just runs along the shore, runs right past the 6. They don't care. It's not that type of magic. It's not really on their register.
It's fine. As long as Gauze gets here safely. We already looked it up. We know goats can swim incredibly well for some reason.
Yeah.
Also, if we now know that those people, things, whatever, at the riverbank are in reality already dead.
They're zombies.
Yeah, are we going to do something about that? Are we going to try to get rid of them? Are we going to just leave them be for the time being? Because I kind of feel like we should do something about dead bodies walking around.
We technically could. I don't know. They weren't.
You could just light them on fire.
They weren't
a great sentence. Can we get that on a t-shirt?
They weren't really dangerous, right? Like, they jumped at, like, magic once. Was the, like...
And they
a couple
bit,
times. Yeah.
They bit Snipps, but that was because he blasted magic.
But did they bite?
Yeah, he still had magic on him.
Did the zombies bite Snipps, or was that the elf goblin?
No, the zombie bit me.
Yeah.
It was a zombie?
I'm going to turn into a zombie next session, is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, if they are biting, maybe we do want to take care of them just to be safe. Then, if they weren't being actively hostile at all, I would say don't worry about it. But if other people do come on by here, which is very low in chance but could happen, I'd rather them not deal with that.
I
I mean,
mean,
I guess they seem to be attracted to magic stuff, and all of us have magic on us, so
you-
it kind of makes sense for them to target us.
Do you both have distant magics or only like melee?
I can make the head hurt by swinging a giant bell to them.
I will
Considering
note you
that-
guys have definitely observed that, like, even though you're carrying magic on you, they did not seem tuned into that on the same way. Like, they responded very quickly to the spells themselves.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like, magic that was kind of loose in the air, they were like, I can absorb that.
The reason I'm asking is if one of us doesn't have distance spells, they can hold the decanter and just keep knocking them backwards while two of us just keeps flinging spells at them, just to circumvent us having to do a whole
That's
battle, unless Griff wants us to do a whole battle.
I'm not going to twist your arms to do a battle right now if you guys have, like, a nice, simple, systemic way to, like, drop them down. They're really lightweight, too. Like, it's 1 or 2 hits tops, depending.
I mean, I have like 2 mana points left.
Do you have cantrips that are distance
I
based?
have Eldritch Blast, which is
Oh
100.
yeah, you're great. No, yeah, okay.
Nice.
So you
Yeah.
you start us off. I'll hold the decanter, and then if they get too close, Snipps gets
Yeah,
him.
I have 9 mana points left, so I'm just going to
Fireball level 9.
take my sword in one hand, basically grasp it so that it sticks like this on the edge, and basically throw it with catapult and try to just spear them. I'm basically
how
making
many-
zombie kebab.
Could you get like more than one on it?
We had an elegant
that's
solution.
what I'm trying to do.
I know.
We
how
had-
long is
we
your
had an
sword? Like how
elegant
many can
solution.
it go through?
Probably
Thank you,
about
Vinny.
as long as I am.
So it's about 2 feet.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
2 to
make
3 feet.
anyone roll anything for these, because this is pretty straightforward. So we'll say that you do take out 3 by, like, lining it up pretty well. And then as the remainder, like, sense the catapult spell and start moving towards you, like, Quillz just takes him down, and a few things become apparent. 1. Snipps, being that you saw the spell that had been shooting Ave when you first ran into Protect, that was the same spell that Quillz is using now, which you find vaguely interesting, at most.
Okay.
But, like, it was clear that, like, that's the sniper spell that they were using. 2, Quillz, when Snipps casts, like, so the 2 of you are, like, lining up to do the thing, and I'm assuming Chanor's, like, got the decanter or something just in case to, like, play backup. Make sure nobody sneaks up and closes in. When you use catapult, it actually feels stronger than the last time you cast it. And Quillz, I need you to roll me a perception check.
$18.
So you definitely, like, as you're charging up for your shots and getting ready for that, and he casts the spell, there's, like, this moment where you have, like, a flicker of dizziness and vertigo, and you're not sure why. It doesn't inhibit your ability to do anything. It's just something that happens in that moment.
It's like whenever you stand
Given
up
that
too
it's-
fast and you get like a head rush.
Yeah, and given that it's super late, and, like, you guys have been at this for a while, like, there's a ton of reasons that could justify it, but, like, you definitely felt it, and you definitely are like, well, that's not good. I need a nap.
I do need a nap. Quillz and Elle need a nap.
Yep. Got 3 of them.
Okay, so they're all out for the count.
Done.
Now we
You
can go
have
home.
killed. There's just 6 emaciated, blight-covered or blight leaking bodies out on the shore.
We should get them away from the water so that they don't reanimate again.
I was gonna say we put them up on some rocks just in case. I'm sure some birds will come peck at them or something at some point.
I really don't want some birds to peck them out.
No,
I'm going to
birds
use my
overcome
mage
with
hand to
light.
get them away from the water, and then I'm going to
Can you incinerate them with your produce flame?
I can do something like that. Just just for fun, when my mage hand becomes a tablet, what material is that tablet made out of?
It's magic. It's not any material specifically.
Okay, dang it. I was just thinking of maybe casting Mage Hand and making it a tablet and basically covering the bodies with it and casting heat metal on it.
Oh yeah, no. It definitely doesn't turn
okay.
into metal. The same way that Mage Hand isn't like a fleshy hand, it's literally just like a force.
Okay, in that case, I'm just going to produce flame fireballs at them until they're nicely crisp and charred and not really usable for everything. I don't know how long that's going to take, but
Quillz, Chanor,
Mm-hmm.
I need each of you to roll me Constitution saving throws.
Also,
so it doesn't take you very long because each time you cast one of these fireballs, like it's just a bigger fireball or flame than the last time. Like again, like it's just you seem to be really on your game suddenly. Like these spells are just launching off really hot.
So every time I cast something, it gets stronger than the last one?
Not stronger than the last one, but like those 6 are definitely stronger than the ones you did earlier.
I got a 15.
19.
Quillz. So as you're like getting things ready, you're letting him burn the stuff down, and like you guys are just putting in other things in order and getting ready to travel. You get super dizzy and you just pass out.
Boy. Alright. Good luck getting me home, boys.
Do we notice that?
I mean, you notice that Quillz collapses eventually. Somebody will look over and be like, Quillz is on the ground unconscious.
Yeah, Snipps immediately runs next to them.
Can I perform a medicine check to check her out?
I'm using a help action for that.
So you're not noticing anything. You're not noticing anything wrong. You're not noticing any like health damage. Their breathing's normal. Their pulse is normal. They just seem to have really any like excess energy consciousness. Like it just literally seems like they've overdone it and like passed out.
Gotcha. I'm gonna pick up best I can. Pick Quillz back up best I can. Put on slightly glowing gauze, I guess, after the swim.
Yeah.
And I'll pump a spare the dying in just because it doesn't cost me anything, just to be safe. But
oh yeah, no, you still have full hit points, Quillz. You're not at 0 hit points at all. You just went unconscious.
Cool.
To clarify, because I know that I just did the same thing with that other thing.
So yep, she's just taking the nap that she needed. She's taking it right now.
Cool.
Yep. Like if you try to wake her and like Will's like, yeah, no, just 5 more minutes. Like not unresponsive, just out cold.
We should probably try getting back.
Yeah, we should be able to get back to the spot where we wait for the ship. That shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, and I might just take them over to the tavern and just have them sleep in maybe, I don't know, Ave's room or something like that, because...
Oh, your tavern. Shit.
What are you going to say?
The tavern fishermen people are.
Because you're going to the dock, so I thought you were going to take her to the the fishing lodge, and I had a whole thing ready for that.
I do not know those fishers well enough. I'm sure they're perfectly brilliant people, but I'm not going to trust one of my best friends with some strangers.
Hey, they're good friends with her.
I mean, I will say that, like, by the time you
Snipps
get back
does
to
not
the
know
dock,
them.
it takes you guys a while to get back to the docks. I need to know what you're doing with the tied up researcher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, first I'm gonna tell Bandage. I'm gonna say, Bandage, if you want, take a sip. 1 gulp.
And like after the first gulp, there's like that boom, and then immediately just like lap, and then it's just like, oh right, you said 1, but it definitely took 2. Little shine, a little bit bigger.
Alright, I'm going to... Bandage is still smaller. So one of us could ride on Bandage. The other person needs to deal with 2 unconscious people. Snipps, you're super strong. Do you mind riding Gauze with the two unconscious people?
Oh, sure, I can do it.
Thank you. Get on Bandage, and I'll lead the way with my bright and shining little goat.
I'm sorry, I have no health right now.
Keep Quillz in front of me, basically, so I'm grasping the... I don't know, I guess you have some kind of bridle or something like that on your goat, so you can steer it.
Rope.
It's technically going to be the one from the like. There is a bridle because you had it hooked up to the cart, so you do have one. I'm guessing you just use some rope so you can use it like a normal.
Yeah.
Okay,
thing.
so I'm just going to put Quillz in front of me, so I'm basically reaching around her to grasp onto the rope, just to make sure she doesn't fall off.
Yes.
And the researcher, I mean, he's tied up like a Sunday roast, so he's just going over the back of the of the goat.
Style.
Yeah, basically that. Just like a sack of flour or something like that.
These fisher people are going to be so confused when they come pick us up.
So
it's us, we're glowy now.
Because I'm guessing you're not also at like a full clip like you were last time, it is going to take you guys about an hour to get to the dock by going around. And actually, by the time you arrive, Quillz kind of comes out of the unconscious, having gotten essentially a short rest, and it's just sort of like, oh, hey, we're here.
Hey, when did we get here?
You just dropped down, like, I don't know, something smacked you up your head, and you just passed out and weren't really responsive anymore, so we thought it would be best to just take you with us and take him with us and just get back.
Quillz, if you didn't want to drive, you just had to say something.
According to y'all, I couldn't have said something, but all right, that's weird. I don't know. It's not normal for me to pass out like that, but I mean,
No, it really isn't.
I remember being a little dizzy, but I just thought, oh, hey, dizzy. Not.
I mean, you've used quite a bit of spells and just magical juice, I guess, and
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe you just overdid it?
I mean, I have 2 mana points left, so.
I don't know what mana points are, but that sounds not too much.
So I will say, Quillz, I'm going to tack this onto the earlier perception check because it's connected. When he says that, you do like check to see how much magic you feel like you have, because there is really sort of like a sensory thing. And you realize you seem dry, and you feel like you shouldn't be right now.
I felt like I was supposed to have more magic than I do now, but maybe I used more than I thought I did. That seems unlikely, though.
I mean, this is still kind of new for us, so I don't know. I know that I sometimes have difficulties gauging how much magic I can use until I kind of am spent for the day.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something like that.
Chanor, I don't have a fever, do I?
Medicine check.
No, that's you touch. You're like not even a little.
I'm not dead then, am I?
I'm gonna just.
You look pretty alive.
While we're waiting for the fisherman, I'm going to double check currently the only big differences that like listing off would be the vials of blight that we now carry. The fact that both of my goats are slightly infected by this weird blight water, and then the bite that Snipps has. Otherwise, that I don't think anyone had any weird effects done on them. So
yeah, no. You were definitely pretty far away from Quillz doing like getting the goats ready for travel when they were off doing their killing spree. So far less of a attachment of you having the vials near them. What was the other thing? Obviously the goats, but you're not feeling anything. You asked Snipps. Snipps doesn't seem to be feeling anything. And the bite still looks like a fresh bite, but like otherwise there's nothing notable about it. Like it doesn't look anything like those wounds that you saw before. There's no sign of any sort of infection.
How's unconscious dude doing?
Still out cold. Like he is, as opposed to you, he was knocked out. So very different circumstances.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we're just waiting at the dock for. We did turn the light on, did we?
I assume so, unless somebody wants to be like, "Oh, just now." After about another hour or so, a ferry makes its way over. Just like, hey, we thought we were gonna not hear from you guys tonight. Oh boy, do we have a surprise for you! Running a Quillz. And then,
oh boy,
also kind of like looks at the goats and's like, "They're shiny."
They are shiny. Isn't
Yeah,
it fun?
it's a whole thing. We had a giant glowing crab at some point.
He's since disappeared. It's fine.
I have more questions than I want answers to. Let's just start going. And if you want to tell me a story, tell me a story. Otherwise, I don't think I need to know right now.
My quick explanation would be, don't drink or let anyone drink any water on the side of the river. It's not very safe for humanoid consumption.
Oh.
Also, probably don't drink anything from the lake.
That being said,
No, we use the water tower like everyone else, but if anyone is going over there, I'll make sure they bring water with them. That's probably a good heads up.
Do you have an extra bottle of water or something that I can use?
Oh yeah, hold on. And he shuffles around a little chest that's at the end of the ferry. Pulls out there's a couple of glass Mason style cap bottles.
Yeah.
And hands you one, and he's just like, "Yeah, we got out of the water tower last time it rained. We stock up pretty quick."
Sounds good.
I have the decanter. Literally, we never run out of water. What are you worried about?
I saw your hand up, and it took me too long to realize why, but I was already in the middle of the talk, and I'm like, "This is gonna be good."
It's just like, it's endless.
I only have one job.
It's endless. It's in the name.
Quillz is gonna look at Chanor, and she's gonna be like, "I want them to feel helpful."
They are helpful. They're helping us.
I'm just going to raise a cup to Chanor. I would like some if possible.
Sure. Say stream? I'm gonna double check.
Dribble?
There's 3 modes. Stream is definitely not geyser, which is good.
No,
stream.
Say geyser.
Stream.
Say geyser.
Stream torrent and geyser.
Stream, fountain, and geyser. Fountain isn't too bad. Geyser would hurt, but stream is just a solid gallon of water. So if you want to just
pull it over.
Okay, I'm just going to hold my cup and have a gallon of water splash over my hand.
Oh, wait. And he grabs the 2 empty bottles from earlier. He's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna hold these so I can line them up." We'll refill them.
Yeah, rather you guys keep the fresh water when you can.
Snipps, you get refilled, and when you take a sip of the water, it feels like missing something. You're not really sure why.
Anyone else miss it when their water had fucking cocaine in it?
Yeah, you guys make it back across. You dock up, and then unload, get off the ferry into the docks area, and as you're walking past, he slowly sort of leads you around past the lodge, and eventually you just kind of see him looking at you expectantly, and then you look at him confused, look up at the lodge, and you see a new sign off to a little, there's the outdoor porch sort of thing. And there's a bait shop. They sell bait for some of the people with their people recreational fishing. They're like, "Oh, we'll sell the extra bait. We don't always need all of it."
Right.
But this is now a little sign that says the Bookworm Bait Shop, and a new little addition where there's a little reading nook and a little one of those outdoor mini libraries with the closing door on it.
That's adorable.
Quillz is just gonna rush to the tavern. She's gonna feel like y'all have fun. She's gonna go to the tavern.
I've been holding on to that since the beginning of the stream. I don't even remember what somebody said, but I was like, "Oh, I have an idea," and wrote this down. I've been waiting to use this word to have this introduction to this sign.
Snipps is just going to look over to Jaina. So should we keep an eye on her? She's probably fine, right? She's fine.
So you can hear Quillz yell back, "I'm good. I'm great."
She's fine. Let's go home.
Oh, that made me so happy. Oh.
I'm gonna go into the tavern and say, "Around on me," and I'm gonna pour everybody a cup of water.
Everyone cheers, and then they all take it. They do up, and then they take a sip, and they're like, "Thanks."
Stay hydrated.
The bartender also takes a sip and goes.
And Quillz is just going to turn to the guy closest to her, and she's going to be like, "It is nice to drink water between alcoholic beverages."
No, it's just that's not normally how we phrase that.
Oh.
You're not wrong.
Sorry, the guy on the ship, guy on the boat seemed really excited about the free water. I thought everyone would have been. That's my bad.
I mean, no, it's fine. It's appreciated. It's just, around on you doesn't. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Sorry. Chanor's like slightly dejected when he walks up. Just like, oh,
like
thought that was
3
good.
hours later, you're lying in bed trying to go to sleep, and your intelligence headband just finally clicks on. You're like, oh, I got their hopes up in the wrong direction. I see what I did wrong.
Not even
Snipps
that.
is just with his cup next to Jaina and saying, I enjoyed it. And then moseys off to another corner of a tavern and just takes a little sip. Still feels off, or still kind of
Oh yeah,
tastes?
no, it's just sort of like. It wasn't the bottle I was drinking out of.
Just
We're all high
reaches down
intelligence.
into his component pouch, gets maybe just the tiniest little thing of molasses, drops it into the water.
That's
See if
something that makes it a little bit more palatable. I mean, at this point, your best assumption, if we're trying to parse out, is like maybe the water that comes out of Chanor's thing is so clean that it's like missing any
No
sort
taste.
of like alkalines and like it doesn't have
Distilled
electrolytes,
water?
what plants crave.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like it literally. It's like it gives you no vitamins. It just gives you water.
Hydration at its purest.
See, Artemis was thinking about, oh, wait. Snipps licked his lips. That's probably Blight stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not going to stop on that theory.
So for the moment, socializing happens. There's some chatter. All three of you are in the tavern, which is interesting. How long are you spending in the tavern as a trio? I'm guessing Quillz is there for a while because now there's like a celebration of the new little book nook.
Yeah, no, Quillz is having the time of her life.
How long are you two hanging?
Snipps is probably staying there for maybe half an hour-ish or so. And then going to start making his way over to the tavern to just head in for the night.
The other tavern, the actual tavern.
The Marigold.
Yeah, the Marigold.
Let's call it the Marigold. That way we don't worry
Okay.
about it.
This is the lodge. That's the tavern. I did screw that up. That was on me more. Chanor. What is your timeline?
I'm going in and doing the drink thing, and then I literally am walking back dejectedly because I got to figure out what I'm going to be doing with my new pinata friend.
Thank God. If you were also like, yeah, I'll hang out for like a half hour, hours, and you're like, you guys get out there. He's fucking gone.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring him.
I really was just hoping that you didn't all do it. I'm so glad one of you did.
No, I'm gonna. Honestly, the thing is, I might end up just setting this person free, but like, I want to bring this person to Josefa first and be like, can you give me any because I don't know, like, short of other medical people, but I feel like I'm pretty good. Like, I'm not probably the highest in the hierarchy, but I'm pretty knowledgeable with medicine, so I don't know who else would help me except Josefa, maybe Hilda. Those are the only two people who I think could help me.
I will say that if you are weighing those options, Josefa has far less medical skill but more magic skill.
Mm-hmm.
Hilda's a nice middle ground. But the clinic, there are definitely a lot of tests you could run at the clinic that you could not have run or have done while you were out there.
Okay.
So there might be an order of operations. I don't know what you want to lean to. Like, obviously, there's magic here for sure. So
sure. Is there a common sense roll or something I can roll to say that like would help me decide which way to go first, or am I just like fully making a choice?
Check.
Okay, because I'll fully just make a choice, but that is a 15 plus it's 4, so 19.
Cool. The smartest thing to do is, or as best you conclude, is probably bring to the clinic, secure them in a way that you know that they won't like be able to make a run for it, and while doing that, send a letter for Hilda's that they'll get in the morning, and then tomorrow you guys can like reconvene. You can probably take some blood samples in the meantime and like do some checks, let them process whatever. Cool. But like, there's some things you could do now. Make sure that it's less hassle later, but Hilda having eyes on them next, but it's super late at night, and it would be kind of rude to just, like, roll up and be like, brought you a fish thing!
100% fair. Do I have
Here's
things...
the thing we hate. Look at it!
Do I have
Don't make human experiments.
Do I have things around the clinic that would be used to basically, like, when we need someone to either be passed out or just, like, non-conscious for, like, a surgery or something that I could use to just, hey, you're going to sleep a little more longer. Yeah, well, of course the restraints.
You have restraints and you have chemical restraints, because you've definitely likely had times where there was somebody who was, like, completely on a bender or acting out or like being aggressive, and you just needed to wait until whatever was in their system fucking left it.
Yeah, so I'm doing it's multi-step. I am going to, because I know this person does have some magical things come off of them, I'm going to use physical restraints for the arms and legs. I am also going to blindfold them, just in case any of their magic is like sight related, and I am going to do some form of like a gag, but not like a tight one that would hurt, but just something to block the stream of water from hitting people.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm sure you could easily either fashion or like have all that stuff pretty easily at a clinic.
Cool. So I'll get them set. I will chemically induce them, be like, "You're gonna take a comfortable nap for a little while now," and then I'm gonna go take a nap like a door over.
Nice.
I will send out the letter to Hilda though, if that is an option and a thing I can do.
Yes.
Cool.
And so you can literally just have your familiar like go leave this in her little mailbox and then come back, and then.
Thanks, Bandage.
Glowy.
Oh god,
We'll go through.
I was gonna say that's the funnest thing. That's my favorite messenger. I want a little glowing goat to deliver mail for me.
I can tell that later. Never mind.
Cool. So you get drunk. You go secure the patients. You kind of do a quick round, and then a quick one, and then you head back to the Marigold. What are you doing at the Marigold?
At the Marigold, is it late enough in the day that the tavern would have been closing down?
I mean, you probably got there at the end of the dinner rush. There's probably a few people having drinks left and some people like just doing small talk, but like, yeah, pretty close to closing time.
Okay. I'm just going to get myself some of the leftovers from tonight's dinner from the kitchen. I'm going to go to my room and just have it completely dark except for one candlelight.
Shut up, Griff. Your mind can't. You can't link minds with me and do
Not
this.
romantic
Stop
at all.
So there I was.
I'm just going
I was
to
alone in my room. It was late at night. I hit the lights. I didn't think anything was going to happen either. But as soon as I hit those lights, bam! I was all over myself like a cheap suit.
You'll be surprised about the amount of films and books I do not know about.
Well, that's not even a quote. That was just me making a connection about how people do the water cooler stories of how they hooked up with someone. So I did the lead up, but then it was hooking up with yourself. That was the joke in my head. Anyway, continue. I'm done. Now that I've had to explain it, it ruined it.
Yeah, you did. No, so
Everyone
I'm
else
just
got it.
no, I'm just going to go to my room, leave it dark except for one candle directly in front of me so that the rest of the room is some kind of match of light parts and very stark shadows. And then I'm just going to ask aloud, Later, you're there?
I was not expecting this, but this is interesting. The two little specks of light come from like under a chair, and there's just this slight tilt, and then they level back off. Hello.
Hello. I've been getting the feeling that you might know some things or have some ways of checking in on people that might not be fully alive anymore.
Yeah, I can check on not. Okay, do you want me to check on dead people or partially dead people?
That's the problem. Can you check in on whatever remains of people when they die? So not the dead body, but the other part?
Yeah. There's not a lot of interaction, but I can sort of find them.
Could you check in on Ave?
Oh yeah, no, she's confused. I got that much last time I saw her. But otherwise, she's just, alone.
I'm going to pull out a gold coin.
He, runs out of the shadow.
I'm going to place it inside of his mouth. Thank you.
Okay. And just kind of tilts again, and then just kind of shakes his head, and unless it looks like you're going to say something else.
No, that's it from me.
He just kind of smiles, and you hear the audible swallow, and then he just falls backwards and rolls into a shadow and gone.
Yeah. Snipps just has this little partially sad and partially almost somber smile, and then blows out the candle and goes to bed.
Gotcha. Chanor, I assume you go to sleep once you go into the other room. Quillz. So you drink with people for a while. Any specific shenanigans that you get up to before actual bedtime?
Well, she's gonna drink, but she's not gonna get drunk.
Okay.
Because especially since she had just passed out, I don't think getting drunk would be a good combination.
I mean, if you mention to any of that to them, they definitely are like, "Oh, let's get you some fish sticks or something. Come on."
So she's probably gonna, be casually just like, "Yeah, it was a rough night." So, I mean, if they bring her fish sticks, she's gonna, eat.
No, that's
sticks right now.
The bartenders there, they're like, I was gonna say a friendly uncle, but that's sometimes creepier. It's just like an old Italian grandma, but in male fisherman form, where they're just like, "No, well, you look a little pale. Let's get some food in you."
I had a boss that was
you didn't clean your plate. Finish it.
Yeah, so she's gonna do that. She's gonna hang out too, just a nice, pleasant end to an otherwise stressful evening. And then she's gonna be like, "All right, it's getting past my bedtime, and I do have to work. I don't have to open tomorrow, but I do have to work tomorrow, so I'm gonna head back to get some rest. Thank you guys so much. I'll be back, if not tomorrow, the day after tomorrow."
All right, well, just make sure we're not letting anyone use that reading nook until you use it first. So, and also, at some point, if you have time before you do that, you should see if there's any, we've tried to pick out some good books from, some merchants who have been through. We don't know if we picked out good books, but, hopefully there's some good ones. If not, then feel free to swap them out, or, if they'd be better in the library. Everyone's kind of, very tentatively, we tried, but we're not sure because we've never had to buy books before.
I am sure you picked the perfect books ever. And after I go through all of those, and if y'all want me to read them to y'all, I can read them to y'all.
The bartender's like, well, one, we judged all of them by the cover, so here's hoping. Two, there's one specific cover I really like, so I'll point that out to you, and we'll start with that. And it, like, a couple of the guys start to voice, it's like, my lodge. I picked first.
But here, how about this? In a day or two, I'll come and I'll read 2 books. I'll read the 2 that y'all will have to decide which 2 I'm reading. I'll read those, and then I could trade them out with some that I have at my house that I think y'all will enjoy.
Sort of a nice, like, nodding murmur of like, that actually makes sense. That's pretty reasonable.
All right. Good night. Don't get too crazy. I'll see y'all later. And she's gonna head home.
Nice. Cool. So you all go to bed. You all have a nice long rest with no interruptions, even you sleeping next to the person who's unconscious. I will say that when you went to, like, put the restraints and you were, like, doing the thing, there was a point where they kind of started to, like, clunk. But you all wake up in the morning, and Quillz, you feel so much better. Like, you don't know what happened yesterday, but, like, 100%. Whatever it was is clearly, like, an acute moment, very fleeting. It's probably just from overtaxing and being around all that extra magic. It's super weird. No idea. Chanor, you check on your patient, and they're sort of, like, a little bit more coherent. They definitely respond to, like, you moving around. And as you're about to go, like, actually take a look at them, there's a knock on the door, and you, like, peek out and see that Hilda's, like, there, ready. It's, like, barely dawn, and she's just like, what's up? And it has, like, coffee and everything. And Snipps, you wake up in the morning, and let me see, I wrote this out specifically, and I need to double check to make sure I don't forget. Did I not write this out specifically? Oh, shit. Oh, it's further down, it's further down. So, the only thing you can tell is that you feel thirsty, and you have some water and still just don't feel like you're... Like, you just still feel a little more thirsty, like, you feel like it's not the right thing. That's that very much, like, weird tension of, yeah, I guess that was fine, but it wasn't what I wanted, clearly, and I can't think of what I want. But also, you realize that, like, the wound, there's nothing wrong with it, but your arm just feels a little cool where the wound is. And you're like, oh, that's weird. I thought that would be, like, warmer, like, you know, when I get cuts. Eh. And I think with 20 minutes left, unless anyone has any final business.
I'm
Last
just
calls?
going to have to roll for Snip's own intelligence, I guess. Yeah, that's an 18.
Yeah,
That's
if you want
nice.
to try one.
No, that's an 18 on the die. That means he's definitely not going to keep it to himself like an idiot. Or like the idiot he usually is. So the only thing Snipps would do is as soon as possible to go over to the clinic and to try and talk to Chanor about it.
Cool. Well, that'll be good, because that'll get all you guys in the same spot for the start of the next session. So we'll hand wave it and call it after you and Hilda are chatting for a bit about the patient. One of you sends Baby Goat to go, like, oh, we need a specific book that I thought of that might help with this, and then that gets Quillz to run over, and then obviously Snipps comes over to be like, hey, arm's a little chilly.
Also, kind of thirsty, but don't know why.
And that'll get us all for the next session. That's where we're starting. But yeah, we'll have that conversation at the start of the next session, and then we'll do the what happened over the next week of, like, how you guys spent your downtime. And that's how we'll pick up. So, a little early, 20 minutes. Does anyone else have any final business before I lock down?
Gonna toss up the Kickstarter one more time at the end. and I will let you obviously finish it off after there. But yes, anyone interested, we do have a Kickstarter going on for the Vault of the Ivory Queen. It has been fully funded, which is great, but there are stretch goals galore if you decide that you want to help us reach them, or if you just want a book for your very self. But Griff, go ahead and close us out.
Thank you all for watching. This is a much smoother session than the ones that have been happening recently. We're back on a schedule that makes sense to me. We're at a stopping point that I like and feel is healthy. We're not in the middle of combat. Everyone kind of made it through. Snipps is a little wobbly, but for specific reasons that will be revealed next time. Don't miss out.